Full Throttle TV welcomes you to round 14 of the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series here at Dover, Delaware, at Dover International Speedway. I'm in the booth again tonight with my buddy Chris Speer. Chris, we have a big race at Dover. It's the midpoint of the regular season. After tonight, we'll have 14 more races till the playoffs. We're on the outside of the top 16. They're looking to make the run to get inside the top 16, maybe clinch a playoff berth with a victory here tonight. And for some of the other drivers out here, they're looking to solidify their position in the playoffs. And the Monster Mile offers another challenge to overcome. And it's demanding. Anything can happen here at Dover. That's why they call it the Monster, Chris.
They certainly do, and everyone here wants Monster to be holding their car at the end. It's a long, long race to go, and these guys are going to have to be able to conserve their tires, conserve their cars themselves, and also maintain track position. You don't want to get stuck behind a bunch of guys towards the end of this race. Otherwise, you may not get back up there.
And that's a really good point. It is a, it's an intermediate track. But it's a 1 mile track. But it's very similar to how it races in a kind of almost like a short track, Chris, and it's going to be very difficult to pass. But the one thing we do have that we haven't had Dover in the past, dynamic track is here. That means we might see these guys move around that outside groove a little bit.
You certainly will, and we talk about this being a 1 mile track. It's got a little bit of both worlds. It races like a short track, but it also has the speed of a super speedway.
It does, and these races, these laps come at you in a hurry, especially when that wall, these guys will be right up against the wall. Let's take a look at our race info for tonight. 200 miles, 200 laps. Right now, it is a 70-degree day in Delaware, virtual Delaware, 89-degree track for racing conditions. It is cloudy, which I know we had practice server last night, Chris. It was sunny, and now we have cloudy weather. We do have a southwest wind at 5 miles an hour, which means that is going to be blowing basically a headwind coming out of turn one. So that's going to be something we'll have to keep an eye on here tonight, Dover.
We certainly will, and it'll be interesting just for the sole purpose. This track is a little bit different than what they got to practice in, and that's what happens when you get to generate the actual conditions here. And it could also still change because the weather can be a variable here. It can make the track very slick if it gets sunny out, or if it stays cloudy like it is now, it'll have a lot of grip, a lot of rubber will be put down.
Kind of reminds me of the race yesterday in the NASCAR Cup Series itself. The track was cloudy, it got sunny, and then it got cloudy toward the end of the race. Might see something similar again here today. Let's take a look at our championship points. You got the top 20 on the screen right now. Casey McMullen leading the points. Anybody you see in gray or dark gray, those guys are have a victory and are potentially locked into the playoffs. So the rest of the top five, Torgerson, Terrell, Nearad, and Coy, all have wins. We got Casey McMullen, Bernard Person, and Ronnie Royal without a win, and Ronnie will be missing again tonight. I believe he is not going to make the race tonight, or be able to race tonight. And then you have Lane Allen in 12th, Wayne Grossi in 13th, Sure Williford in 14th, and right now our last playoff spot is held by Gary Griffith there in 16th. But we look further back, Chris, at the rest of this championship battle. There's two battles. It's one's to get in the playoffs, and the other one is to stay in that top 25. Right. He is 25th in points, and Ralph Nolan Jr. not here. He's 26th in points. That's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on as this race transpires.
It certainly will give an advantage to the guys that are behind them to see if they can get their way up into that top 25, because that's the only way to guarantee that you're going to make it into the race here. So it's a pretty big thing that you want to be able to be in a guaranteed spot, so that way you're not having to go out here and kind of just overdriving your car and yourself and really beating yourself up to make your qualifying lap the best that it can be, especially because a lot of people here they'll run that qualifying setup as hard as they can, and it's not near as similar usually to your race setup.
Exactly right. We got qualifying going on right now, but Kenneth Schultz, Steven Vrooman, Josh Mayu, Donnie Staubitz, all drivers that can stand to benefit by some guys missing the event here tonight. For Delaware Raceway, I mean, it has gone through some changes. This track was built in 1969, and in 1994, they decided to mimic Bristol. Bristol had been an asphalt track. They repaved it to concrete, and then obviously they changed it in 2007, and then we had a dirt race there. Delaware kind of took that same thing and decided to repave Dover as an asphalt, or from an asphalt track to a concrete track. And Chris, it's put on some heck of a racing throughout the years at this track. And the concrete surface, it's a unique challenge. We only have 2 races or 2 tracks on the schedule with concrete.
We certainly do, and this is one of those tracks that, because of it being concrete, it can be a little bit more rough in certain areas than an asphalt track typically. You can have pavement issues, you can actually feel it as you're doing laps around here. You can feel dips a lot more in the concrete, and also it doesn't react as much to the weather, but it definitely stays pretty slick the whole day long.
Yeah, it does, and it's going to be something to look at. We got qualifying times going in right now, Chris, and we jump on with TJ Bartel, who made his debut last week in the season. It looks like he is actually just got done with his lap. See, Tracy Powers coming around to take his lap. Had his best finish of the season. Now, he had a great run at Dover last time we were here with a second place finish, the 45, 11th quickest on the board.
And we talk about track position being key. That's where you want to start this race. You don't want to be outside the top 10, 15 drivers. Otherwise, your race is going to be dictated by how aggressive you can be to get up in those top spots.
Third place in points, man. Bobby Terrell on the track right now. First lap, 20th quickest. And Chris, you see him just driving, and you can see how bumpy, especially going into 3. It's a dip. There's a dip going into turn 3, and you can see just Bobby Terrell is going to come across the line, and he will go 17th. So not a big improvement there. We also have Randall Ballard on the track. Brad Patterson and Rory Collins have not taken a lap. We have 44 drivers here tonight. 40 drivers will make the field. So right now, if Collins and Patterson do not take laps, they would be out, as would Donnie Staubitz and Tony Solari right now, unfortunately, for those drivers.
Yeah, at this point, those guys just need to get out here and get a lap so that they can be up on the board and not be in trouble as far as going home. No one wants to go home. This is, you can't get points if you're sitting at home.
Yeah, it's going to be something we'll have to keep an eye on, as qualifying has just wrapped up here. There is about 45 seconds to go in the qualifying, but Chris, you know, we talked about Dover. The other thing we have to talk about, this is basically the halfway point of the playoff, or until the regular season ends, until the playoffs begin. Dover is such a challenging and unique track. Unfortunately, we're not going to go there twice this year. The NASCAR schedule, in real life, one of the Dover races was replaced by Nashville Super Speedway. They're owned by the same company. We don't have Nashville on the iRacing service at this time. But you know, how hard do you attack this track knowing that you're only going to race this track once? It's no longer a playoff track. Does that affect how you come into this race?
Absolutely not, because everyone out here is a racer. They want to win just as much as everyone else around them. So at this point, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to get that win. It doesn't matter if you go to this track once, twice, 3 times, however many times in one season. Still, everyone wants that victory.
And there we go. We will be heading into our next session. And Chris, I mean, it's going to be a very for these guys. But, you know, you think about Dover. We talked about Rachel Hunt and Chad Lang. They won the last 2 events here. Chris, they're outside the top 16 in the points. How much is that going to play on their minds knowing that they have that opportunity?
Well, they have the opportunity to go out here and actually do a pretty important thing for those guys. They need to get out here and show that they are playoff worthy. And we've seen great runs out of both of them at different points throughout the season, but not having that victory and being outside the top 16, that's not anyone's hope right now. I mean, at this point, you're going into halfway through the season. Victories are going to matter. You want to start piling up as many points as you possibly can, because even at halfway point of the season, you got 14 races. There's only 16 playoff guys. You still have a potential for people to not make it in and still win a race. And another thing, looking at it, I mean, you talk about these guys, and I know Rachel led 200 laps here in her victory. The issue with that is that unfortunately, this isn't the exact same track that she was at. The weather has changed here. The track itself can be a little bit different. There's different tire update, a lot of different things that can make this track more challenging. So you can't rely on that past history here to guarantee that you're going to have a good run here tonight.
We're just waiting for the session to end here, and we'll be going into our warm-up in just a moment here, I believe. And as we have that second, we're going to take a quick commercial break and get you into the warm-up and talk to maybe some drivers here before the race begins. Chris, I'll be right back. There's something going on with the server again. I think it'll be right, actually. Give it a minute. Sure, I thought it would be fun. But I will be right back. Got about 2 minutes. All right, I'm back, and we're going to bring Troy up for a quick interview. Do you want to do this one, or do you want to do the caution flag one, if we have caution? All right, 10-4. Oh my gosh, just drag. Troy, you got your ears on? Pretty good. We're about to come back from commercial break. I just want to make sure you're there. right, we're back live here at Dover Downs International Speedway, and warm-up going on. And we're going to call down to one of these drivers and see if we can get a ring in on them. We're going to call down to last week's winner, Troy Torgerson in the 98. Troy, you got your ears on?
Hey, Jared, how's it going?
Troy, you've been kind of on a hot streak late, man. I mean, you've what a win last week, grabbing your first career victory at Darlington in the Cup Series. Tough track to get your first career win. I think Regan Smith in real life might be one of the few drivers to do that. Ricky Craven, another one. And then you come out to Dover. Unfortunately, got caught up in a wreck in the Truck Series on Wednesday night, but you had a very good car on Thursday night in the Xfinity Series. What are you going to get done tonight here at Dover?
Jared, I like this track. Hopefully we get some green flag runs, and we got a whale of a field here. So many guys could win this race, and week in and week out, man. We're just going to try to keep it forward and keep the fenders on it tonight, and hopefully at the end, be there at the end.
Well, Troy, I mean, you're sitting right now in the playoff points. You're in the top 16. Does that change your mindset at all going into this race, or do you still attack it like any other thing?
We come out here to race. We come out here to win. We're going to try not to over push it, and hopefully if there's some melee, get through it, but we're not going to overdrive it, and we're just going to go out here and have a good time with these guys, and hopefully bring home a good finish.
All right, Troy. Well, thanks for talking to us. I'm going to let you have the last word here, and good luck tonight, man.
All right. Thanks, Jared. Thanks for putting this on tonight, man. Hopefully we get a good race tonight, put on a good show for you guys and all the spectators out there, man. Props out to my teammates. Hope we all get a good finish.
All right, Chris. That was the number 98, Troy Torgerson, and I think he's going to have a great race here tonight at Dover, Delaware, as warm-up about to come to an end, and we're going to get into the race. But, Chris, something we didn't talk about, getting on pit road is something these guys are going to have to pay attention to.
They certainly will, and it's a little bit of a tricky place to get on and off of pit road because it comes up to you so quickly here, especially because of that steep incline. This track makes it really difficult to get on and off of pit road.
Alrighty, we got the drivers on the grid, so let's get into the starting lineup here tonight. Dean Doucette grabbing the pole position with a lap of 21.291. Brian Helm, who finished second last week, he'll roll off second again this week. Row number 2, Richie Coy and Tim Bills in the next row, and Tim Bills having a great run here tonight in qualifying. Row number 3, Lane Allen and Jeff Chandler. Row number 4, Bernard Person and Steven Vrooman. Row 5 will be Jeff Winter and Troy Torgerson, Chris.
Behind them in row number 6, Tracy Powers and Brendan Turner. And then in your row 7, you'll have Brian Bliss and Kenneth Schultz. Starting 15th will be Jeff Langston and Jason Speer. 17th there, Bobby Terrell and Greg Holt. 19th, TJ Bartel in his second race here with us. And 20th will be Kevin Ruppert.
Looking back through the field, we got row number 11, Wayne Grossi and Casey McMullen. Row 12 will be Dale Nearad and Chad Lang back there. Gil Gock in row number 13. Alongside him, Andrew Poliski, who will have to drop to the end of the field. Row 14 will be Bill Benedict and Paul Sargent. Row 15, Zach McDaniel making another start and Kevin Sargent. Row 16, Mike Watts and Randall Ballard. Row 17, John Held and James Torrey, who makes the event tonight. And then we got row 18, Cheryl Williford and Jeff Bratton. Row 19, Josh Mayu and Rachel Hunt. Row 20 will be Gary Griffith and Randy McCanny rounding out your field tonight. All right, Chris. Well, we have three newcomers tonight. We look at those drivers. We have Brendan Turner, who has been making his name kind of known in the Xfinity Series. He's out running in the Cup Series, making his Cup debut, made his truck debut a couple weeks ago. And then we have Jeff Langston in the 01, making his Cup debut, and Greg Holt in the 32. Chris, tough race to make your debut on.
It certainly is, but they will do their best here tonight. And look for those guys to kind of take the opening of this race slow so that they can get to figuring out these drivers around them.
got a little bit of time here, but these guys all ready and rear end to go here at Dover Downs International Raceway, a track that actually started out horse racing, if you could believe it, and we still have the quarter-mile horse track in the middle of the track where they still race horses daily there. Casino back there in the corner there, very gorgeous building that's been on the property since the mid-70s. Pace car is off. Dean Doucette and Brian Helm will lead him off. Richie Coy and Tim Bills will be right behind him, and we're going to get this thing started.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out here at Dover, and we are down and away. Dean Doucette with a great start heading into turn one. Brian Helm checking up the outside line. Continue to work. Tim Bills will get in line, but everybody else is going to stack out a little bit here, Chris, as they continue to go through the track. Double file all the way back through the back of the pack as everybody else kind of starting to try to figure out where they can run. Helm by himself on the outside line.
These guys are going to want to get single file here. It's no fun at the early of this race going side by side like this. You get a little bit loose at the beginning of the run. You don't ever want to have that worry as you're underneath someone.
And we have a caution already. And that is going to be Richie Coy, potentially? Let's take a look here. So from our dynamic helicopter camera, Richie Coy, he's on the inside of Brian Helm. And, oh, he gets tagged. And, man, that's a tough break for Richie Coy. And we saw Gil Gach on the bottom there, and I think that was what brought out that caution. I don't know if Gil Gach had a separate issue, but Richie Coy, second place, and didn't look very good from where I was sitting, Chris.
No, it didn't, and that's something you'll have to keep an eye out on in this race. These guys are going to be battling hard for position, and this is a track where you can get into someone pretty easily if they have to get out of it.
And it looks like somebody got in the back of Gil Gach there, causing that checkup. Chris, we're under our first caution. Didn't take very long. You know, that's sometimes Dover with this track, it's always one of those situations where you have an instance that can happen and it can collect a lot of drivers. That was not one of them.
It certainly wasn't. These guys will do everything they can to get this thing going back. Everyone here wants a green flag run. No one wants to do pace laps around this track.
Still waiting on these guys to get lined up again here. Had an issue with our trading paints there. It crashed on us, so we're getting our paints reloaded, so apologies about that, and should have those back on there. Yeah, we got them on there now, so that is good news for everybody here. If you don't know who's racing out there, it's hard to call the action, but right now we did have a couple takers on pit road. Gil Gach and Richie Coy, obviously, with damage. We also had Jeff Bratton also go in as well.
And at this point, I'm going to be fairly certain if that was just to repair some damage that they may have sustained or to make a quick change to their actual car, because at this point, tires really weren't going to matter that much.
Yeah, exactly right. Could top off on gas, but we will have to take a look and see if those guys are going to have that happen for them or not. But Chris, you know, you look at it, and that's going to be a tough break for Richie Coy as he gets a little bit tangled up there. Got loose, slid up in front of Brian Helm. Not much the 26 could do there, I don't believe, but definitely a tough position. we'll get these guys re-racked. But not much changed on that first lap. Randy McCanny did move up 10 spots from 42nd to 30, or sorry, from 40th to 32nd, so 8-spot gain for him. Andrew Poliski had to start the end of the pack in 40th, technically on the grid, but he did start 33rd or 24th. He is up to 33rd right now. Rachel Hunt, the defending race winner, is right now in 34th, so somebody we have to keep an eye on as this race goes on, if she can get her way to the front and dominate like she has in the past. We're getting ready to get this thing going again. So it's going to be Dean Doucette, Brian Helm, Jeff Chandler, Tim Bills, Lane Allen, Steven Vrooman, Bernard Person, Troy Torgerson, Brendan Turner, and Jeff Winter. Your top 10 as the pace car makes the hard left. And we're about ready to get this thing going again. We'll stack up there.
Green flag, green flag.
And we're back under green. Better restart by Brian Helm now. He's going to get the jump on Dean Doucette, who spun the tires on the bottom. Brian Helm to the lead going through turn number 1. We are having a little bit of technical issues with the number 2 guy here, Chris, but he will be back in just a moment. So we're just going to keep going through the action here as Dean Doucette tucks into line. It's going to be Tim Bills, Jeff Chandler, and finally Brian Helm will get a lap led here early in this event. Continuing on through the race as we continue, and Tim Bills is going to look underneath the 29 going through turn number 2 now. Jeff Chandler tucked up. It's single file throughout the top 10. Tim Bills will go to second. Little loose off the corner. Dean Doucette holding on to the machine. Jeff Chandler is going to challenge in the 31. So it's Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Chevy in your top 5 right now, as Tim Bills is going to look underneath the 26. Helm's going to let him have it. Tim Bills with the break goes to the front. 3 leaders in our first 9 laps here at Dover.
These guys want to get all those points that they possibly can, and the easiest way to do that is by being up front, Jared.
Exactly right. Oh, we got a wreck. It's Jeff Winter. And I could not tell exactly what happened, but we saw at the top of the screen, and Jeff Winter went up the racetrack, and heavy damage to the number 31 car. It looks like that car has actually got some steering issues as well, which is never good. Oh, back end is crinkled in, and Jeff Winter, one of our only repeat winners this season, already in trouble.
Certainly not the way that you want to start your day at this track. It's going to be hard to overcome, but at this point it's all about managing what it is that you have. You don't want to go out here and just give up, because there's still a lot of laps in this race, a lot of positions that can be made up.
Let's see what happened here. So we got Jeff Winter. He's on the back of Bernard Person, and we got Brendan Turner there. Jeff Winter's going to look underneath, and he dives in pretty deep, slides up the racetrack, and then Brendan Turner's there, slides, and looks like Tracy Powers, heavy impact there. Could not tell who else is involved. Kenneth Schultz, Dale Nearad, Wayne Grossi, all with damage on that incident. It looks like the 37 might have gotten into the 30. And we'll see if we can get a better look at that here in just a second, Chris.
Yeah, tough break for these guys that were just battling hard. A lot of them just had nowhere to go once that happened. That's one of those things about Dover. It is a self-cleaning track. If it goes up, it's going to come back down. Sometimes you can't avoid it.
We go on board the 37 of Brendan Turner. So you're going to see Jeff Winter, I apologize, in the 30, looking underneath. Turner just kind of lets off a little bit, and Winter slides up the track and may not have known the 37 was there. Tough break for those guys involved. We'll get one more look from Kenneth Schultz's machine in the 91. He had a whole front end full of some action going on there. May have gotten some damage out of that. So Kenneth Schultz running on that high side was in 16th at the time. See Brian Bliss, that's the other driver involved. Brian Bliss in 18. And you see it up ahead. There's the contact. Right there's the spin. Schultz starts backing down, and it's a self-clean track. Oh, he does get a little damage from the spinning Winter, but tough break for those drivers involved. Maybe could have been a rookie mistake by the 37 there, Chris.
It certainly could have been, and that's one of those things we talked about. This track is a very difficult track, specifically if you haven't actually been here and run it before. And also, we keep having these issues at the beginning of runs. We're not being able to get into a long run. Cars are still wicked loose in the start of this run. You need about 5 to 10 good green flag laps, and we're just not getting them in here.
These guys probably not too happy with the decisions there, but second caution in 13 laps. And we had some great battling as Tim Bills got to the front. Brian Helm has led, and Dean Doucette has led. Already 3 leaders in 13 laps. So the fight is on. We have only had about 8 green flag laps of these 13 at the point. But sure, Williford is our biggest gainer right now, up 13 positions. Now, he joined a brand new team. He has left Speer Motorsports, gone back to Chevy, where he has been loyal, and has created his own team called Patriot Racing. So sure, Williford doing it on his own now. And he's up to 22nd right now. Gary Griffith up to 24th, up 16 positions. And Randy McCanney, who started shotgun on the field, up on the track right now.
And a lot of that has to do with these guys just being able to avoid the mayhem in front of them. And that's the easiest way to make up a lot of positions is pass them when they're either otherwise.
Yeah, exactly right, Chris. We're going to re-rack him again. It looks like Tracy Powers did not get too much damage. He did not pit, and he is still out on the contact. But you know, could have been one of those instances where, you know, netcode kind of benefits you at some point in time. So Tracy Powers still out there. Same with Dale Nearad. Don't see any damage on those machines. So likely they did not get hit there. But we will see what happens here as we are about ready to get this restart going again. Pace car takes start already in the race here at the Dover 200. Bills and Doucette will lead him down. Can Dean get a better restart than last time? We'll find out.
Green, green, green.
Oh, Tim Bills spins the tires. Jeff Chandler has to jump out of the way. He does give up that position, but he may have been black flag for passing under the driver at the beginning of the race, and that's never a good thing. What do you do in those circumstances? But Tim Bills spun the tires, and that's going to jump. He's going to get able to get that advantage. Dean Doucette going to talk in behind him.
Man, and you hate to see that, especially with these guys up here challenging for the lead. I mean, you've already mentioned it. We've already had 3 leaders within the first start of this race. You don't want to have the mistakes like that going into a restart, but if you're going to have it, you want it now rather than later.
And Jeff Chandler is going to get a black flag for pass to the left under yellow flag conditions. So you can't pass the leader before the start-finish line. You can't pass anybody on the inside, or in the same row as you on the inside, I should say, before the start-finish line. So Jeff Chandler going to get black flagged by the game. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is James Torrey as well, may have gotten a black flag as well, as he is on pit road. Both of those drivers will have a long penalty to serve. Oh, Tim Bills loose off turn 4. That car, Chris, he looks wicked out of control right now in the 77.
And at this point, he's lost his focus. Going to get back into that rhythm that he had at the start of this race. Not able to do so, and it's a lot harder to do if you have an ill-handling race car there, Jared.
He did lead practice, so we know he's got a good ride, but he might be pushing it just too hard. Right now, we look at the top 3. It's Bills, Doucette, and Helm. A driver we may not have expected to see in the top 5, Steven Vrooman, part of Raging Moose Racing. Steven Vrooman having a great run. He's had a couple great runs over the past few weeks. Hasn't had a lot to show for it, but Vrooman, maybe he's got some help from Rachel Hunt this week, but that number 00, the old Buckshot Jones number. And we're under caution again.
Cautions breed cautions, and it seems like that's what we're going to run into here at the beginning part of this race.
And it looks like it was Jason Speer. And let's take a look and see what happened to Jason Speer on that caution, and see if we can get. He is actually getting that car going. May have been a single car wreck. So Speer, there he is. He's got the 32 of Greg Holt behind him. Holt looking on the inside in the turn, and Jason Speer goes, oh, he gets loose. Jason Speer just gets loose, and nothing Holt could do in the 32. And holds the brake. I think the 83 got lucky there and won't have too much damage out of that, but tough break. He's going to have to go to the back.
He certainly will, but like you mentioned, not a lot of damage there, which is a good thing for that 83 machine. And lucky for him, all those guys were able to get around, because once you're in that position, you're kind of left on your own.
Yeah, exactly right. Now he's going to check in, and he was running in 17th position. He's going to drop to 33rd right now. We do have a couple takers on pit road, including Dean Doucette. So Dean Doucette is down on pit road. Tracy Powers is down on pit road. Kevin Rupert is on pit road. And also Greg Holt, who may have gotten some damage there on pit road. Jeff Bratton going to get the wave around. He had some damage to repair from the first incident of the race. So he is going to get that repaired and get going again. Jeff Bratton going to get his lap back, I should say. And Chris, I wanted to take a look while we green flag restart and see what happened to the 77 of Tim Bills. So here we go. Tim Bills on the inside, and we got Jeff Chandler. He's right there. Brian Helm kind of leaving a little bit of a gap there behind him. But here we go. And yeah, just got a little bit loose there. Didn't get going. And yes, so Jeff Chandler tried to slow down to prevent himself from getting a penalty there. Just nothing he could do there. Get run over from behind or run over the guy in front of you. Not an easy call to make.
No, it's not, unfortunately, and he will have to battle his way back up into the lead lap here, as he did get trapped one lap down, but one lap down is a lot better than multiple lap down.
Exactly right. And while we have this opportunity, we're going to word with one of the drivers involved in the first incident, Richie Coy. Richie Coy, it's Jared and Chris up in the booth. You got a copy on us.
What's up, Jared?
At the race, you wanted the way it to start, but what happened out there on that first caution?
I went down that corner. I was actually trying to take it easy, and the car just whipped around on me, and I tried to catch it before I got up into Brian, and it just kind of went back down. I'm not sure if I actually got tagged by somebody to help me, but I was on my way to spinning anyway. But yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Well, Richie, you have to work your way back from the back of the pack. Is that car hurt, or you?
It's hurt a little bit, but it's actually got some speed in it. So right now I'm fighting with a couple guys trying to get the lucky dog. So hopefully we can get that back. We can get a lap or two back here.
All right, Richie. Well, we're about ready to go back 1 to green. We're going to let you get back to it. Best of luck the rest of the race.
Thank you, sir.
And you heard it there, Chris. We saw that first incident. It definitely looked like he did get loose there and got up in there. So Tim Bills and Brian Helm going to lead it down. Vrooman in third. Person, Allen, Torgerson, Turner, Terrell. 23 laps in the book.
And at this point, these guys are itching to get a green flag run in here throughout the rest of this race. Can't do that if you're doing these start and stops.
Green flag, green flag.
And green flag is back out here at Dover.
What a jump by Tim Bills in that 77 machine there, making the bottom work really well and clearing those guys behind him as they're still side by side behind him.
Yeah, Chris, they're working real hard right now going into the next turn.
Second
Tim Bills.
and third here. Now the battle is farther back there with, it looks like Brendan Turner and Troy Torgerson there on the outside in that 98 machine trying to get around for position. Wow, real loose right there, the 37 car.
They're continuing to battle. Tim Bills, they're getting out to the front. We got Wayne Grossi looking underneath TJ Bartell. Those are teammates, and that's a battle for the top 10 right now, Chris. on board the 7 as he comes across the start-finish line. So those three Wayne 9th, 10th, and 11th right now, Chris, and they are starting to make a move to the front.
They certainly are. They're going to do everything they can to force their way up into position. These guys are starting to single file a little bit here. For the closest battle for a position that's side by side is, well, as soon as I say it, the Dale Nearad and Mike Watts get it straightened back out there.
They're continuing to battle here, Chris, as they continue to work off the turn. Got a quick issue with the microphone, and I'm working on getting that fixed. So give me 1 second here. I do believe we got it fixed. And caution's out. We're going to take a look and see what happened. As we got our fourth caution of the night. It looks don't see anybody involved. Let's take a look. That's not going to be it. Let's see if we can find what happened here, Chris. Still
on my end, it looked like it showed that Dean Doucette got sideways all on his own, and that's what actually brought out the caution, but it was really hard to tell. He kind of blinked out on my end, so I lost him there for a moment.
And we're not picking up anything on our screens here, so we paused it for a second. Let's see if we can look here. So here's Dean Doucette. He's all the way in the back of the pack, and we got a car on the apron. That's Brian Bliss. Don't believe, or no, yeah, that is Brian Bliss. Dean Doucette. Oh, somebody in front of it. It's Paul Sargent in the 49 in front of Dean Doucette, who gets loose and wrecks. So Paul Sargent will bring out that next caution, and heavy impact for the 49 machine. So 4 cautions, 29 laps into it, and Tim Bills still leading. And we got some more drivers. Vrooman was able to take over second position, so good run for Vrooman there to move up. But Chris, we've already had 4 cautions. This is more cautions we had last time we raced here. What's kind of going through the mindset of these drivers right now and how they approach this race?
Well, a lot of different things are going on. They're trying to figure out exactly what it's going to take to get to the end of this race, for one. I mean, it's a 200-lap race. They're just now going to lap 30. They want to be able to avoid any of the melee that they're going to have to deal with here early on to be able to get it to the race. I mean, these guys are also, we talk about track position being so key here. Really, a lot of the guys that have made up a lot of time, it's kind of just been by luck of misfortune of drivers around them. So they're just, these guys now, at this point, it's all defensive for a lot of these guys. They don't want to lose that track position because you never know if you're going to be able to get it back.
Well, speaking of guys that have gained some track position, regardless of how you gain track position tonight, gaining 30 positions on the track is a phenomenal gain. And that's Gary Griffith in the 12 machine. He is up 30 positions up to 10th place. Started 39th, so he actually started 29 positions. So he started 39th, and he has made his way up into 10th place. What a run for the 12 car. Hasn't pitted. Chad Lang pitted on lap 11, as did Zach McDaniel, Andrew Poliski, and Josh Mayu. Then we have Kevin Rupert and Tracy Powers that have pitted on lap 20, along with Greg Holt, Jeff Bratton, Dean Doucette, Kenneth Schultz. Then on our most recent caution, Lane Allen, Bobby Terrell, Wayne Grossi, Mike Watts, TJ Bartel, Hunt, and Held all have pitted. So that's 33 drivers on the lead lap currently, and they basically all pitted. Richie Coy, the first car, 1 lap down. He's not going to get the lucky dog this time, but would be in line next time around.
And we've got them stacked up here, going to go green on lap 32. And these guys are good position up here. Tim Bills has been pretty dominant for the last couple of restarts. And we'll have to watch to see if we get into that tire spin like we had before.
We've seen him spin the tires on the front. Steven Vrooman, he's a rookie in the series this year. He's having his best run of the season by far. How much nerves is going to be in that 00 as we're about to get ready to go back to green and see what he can do on the outside. So it's going to be Bills, Vrooman, Helm, Person, Torgerson, Turner, and Griffith, your top 10.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back out here at Dover. Tim Bills a little wheel spin, but everybody gets going pretty good, and Tim Bills will take the lead. And somebody's wrecking in the back. It looks like
Caution is out.
and TJ Bartell involved. Wayne Grossi involved. Oh, and he's hit the wall. Somebody else involved back here too. But let's take a look and see what happened on that restart. It was not Jet Bratton. So it looks like Wayne Grossi. So let's see if we can get a better angle of this accident here. So Wayne Grossi's on the outside. He's behind Lane Allen. He's one of the drivers involved in this incident. And we just saw somebody disappears at the start. Oh, it's Kenneth Schultz. Kenneth Schultz bends the tires, and he comes right across the track. He's going to get Grossi and Bartell. Rachel Hunt involved. Jeff Chandler might be involved. Oh, no. There's Bill Benedict also involved. There's several drivers, and that's a tough situation for everybody involved.
It certainly is, and this track clutters in a heartbeat, and that's kind of what happened there. A lot of these guys just had nowhere at all to go, and that just is there's nothing you can do about it, Jared.
And that's the key at this track. Old tires on a concrete surface, when you restart, there ain't a lot of grip. And Kenneth Schultz found that out the hard way. Unfortunately, some guys with fresh tires like TJ Bartell and Wayne Grossi involved in that as well. And that is tough for those drivers involved to be in those kind of wrecks early in the race. But we will see who gets the lucky dog. I do believe it will be Richie Coy, but I won't swear to that. So Richie Coy will get back on the lead lap in the number 19 machine. So that'll give us 33 drivers on the lead lap. TJ Bartell with significant damage in that 88 has had garage. James Torrey back out there. Jeff Chandler is out there. Brian Bliss back out after lengthy repairs. Paul Sargent has retired. So has Jeff Winter and Gil Gock. So there's left in the event. Well, Chris, it's 5 cautions in 33 laps. A lot of pit strategy has come out of this because of this. But now, when you're on those old tires or those new, how do you show some patience coming through the field with old tires? Because there's a big difference in lap times between old and new tires.
Well, really, it's about watching the guys around you, seeing where they are getting slurs. You can get right up behind someone and help them get loose just by the air off of your car. And really take advantage of that. Once they get loose, you can dive right up underneath them. Now, this is one of those tracks, though. It's really difficult to pass people when you need to run a specific line. So if you got a bunch of guys out here racing on older tires, they're searching for grip, typically a little bit on the higher line. The guys with fresh tires can run lower. But a lot of it here is you can take away someone's momentum by just getting in their way, and that's going to be a real issue, especially because of the closing rate with these fresh tires.
Exactly right, Chris, and that's going to be something we'll have to pay attention to as we do appear like we're going to get this re-racked and get this thing going one more time. But this is, we thought it was going to be a tough race, and it really has become that. Here tonight for some drivers. But right now we have a Chevy on the top, Tim Bills, and then we have Stephen Vrooman, and then 2 Fords behind them. We have Bernard Person, Brian Helm, and then Troy Torgerson and Brendan Turner. And we have Jeff Langston, Dale Nearad, Chad Lang, and Gary Griffith, your top 10 here as we are about to start lap 36, Chris.
And you just mentioned Chad Lang. He's a former winner here. He's now broken to the top 10, making his way up here.
And it will be interesting to see what he can do. We know Rachel Hunt did get some damage on that last incident. Don't know how much, but it'll be interesting to see if she's able to get this car repaired and get going to the front again. Got to watch the wheel spin, but the top 10 has changed dramatically in this race. Pace car is off, and we're going to get this thing started one more time here at Dover.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out, and a good start by Tim Bills on the inside. Steven Vrooman's going to lead him down into turn 1. He's going to be able to, can't quite clear Bernard Person. Person's going to challenge for second.
He certainly is, and while it was a great restart for Tim Bills, it's like everyone else behind him, they were just a little bit slower getting to the gun, and that is why we got some very fierce racing going on behind him, almost 3 wide behind him.
3 wide behind him, one of those benefit or anti-beneficiaries, whatever that word may be. Brian Helm, he has dropped all the way on the outside, and he is trying to get that 26 car straightened out. Torgeson, the big gainer, he's moved up to 3rd place. Vrooman to 4th, and now we got Brian Helm hung on the outside. He is battling with Jeff Langston for 5th.
He certainly is. He got high coming through the corner a few laps ago when he was 3 wide, got up in those marbles, and it's really starting to hurt the way that his car handles. He's trying to do whatever he can as he's able to get back down in that lower groove to keep those positions and not lose any more here in this run. But certainly a hard-fought few laps for him trying to keep that thing underneath him.
Kenneth Schultz has made his way to pit road as well in the number 91 with some damage there. Tim Bills, though, he got a great jump. He's already got a 1-second lead over Bernard Person, who's got the 98 of Troy Torgeson. We talked to him in the warm-up, Chris, and he is hungry. I mean, he's been on quite a roll across FTSR, not just in the Cup Series. The 98 car looking strong again tonight.
Well, we talk about it. These guys that are in the playoffs, they want to stay up here and or that are currently eligible for the playoffs. They want to be able to stay up here and get these good positions, good finishes. And the best way to do that is to be up front most of the race, it seems like. And that's why that 98 car is doing whatever he can to get up here. He wants that second position bad, as both the second and third position are now closing in on our leader.
Tim Bills had a little bit of a lead, and that lead has diminished down just a little bit as now you look there, Tim Bills, it's down to half a second. Torgeson, 0.7 back, and he is battling hard with Bernard Person. It's single file in the top 15, and we look back, Tracy Powers back there in the middle of the pack. Richie Coy also in that group as well. Or sorry, not Richie Coy, I apologize. That's Kevin Sargent with a new look on the 09. And we look even further back, Bill Benedict. So everybody's kind of gotten single file this run, Chris. Maybe some cooler heads are starting to prevail.
Well, at this point, these guys want to do whatever it takes to be able to make it to the end. And the easiest way to do that is just calm down, relax, run your race. And that's what we're seeing here now.
Battle for 22nd is between Lane Allen and Mike Watts. Those two drivers with clean tires. Kevin Sargent very loose off turn 4, holds onto it in the 09. He's going to slide filter back in, but he's going to lose about 5 positions. Speaking of drivers moving forward, Jeff Chandler, who is 1 lap down, continued to march his way forward.
He certainly is. He was unfortunately hit with that penalty early on and kind of been trapped back there in the back, just trying to do whatever he can to get that lap back. He's hoping for a quick caution here.
Jeff Chandler, 34th on the track. He is about 20 seconds behind James Torrey for that lucky dog position. And then Wayne Grossi also in that group, the last car, 1 lap down. And everybody's starting to kind of fan out and look a little bit more put together this run. Finally going to get some green flag racing under the belts here. And Troy Torgeson on the back of the 8 car, but Chris, he can't seem to get it going around Bernard Person in that machine.
He certainly can. It looks like he kind of needs to run the same, not able to get any momentum to get closer to him than he is. They've kind of stabilized out, and while they're doing that, the Tim Bills is starting to slowly green a little bit more on them each lap.
Yeah, and Chris, Tim Bills up to 0.72 right now as we run live, and you know that's a healthy gap at Dover. But you look at the track map, and you'll see everybody around the track. I mean, we basically have an entire field although Tim Bills will encounter 2 lap traffic drivers. That's 35th of Kenneth Schultz and 32nd Wayne Grossi that are both off the pace toward the back. Let's look back through the field. 15th, Kevin Rupert. He's on some fresh tires. He's ahead of Tracy Powers. He leads the drivers that pitted on lap 20. Or sorry, Greg Holt does. As we got a little bit of battle back here around 11th place. Zach McDaniel moving forward in that group. Greg Holt, Brendan Turner, Randy McCanny, all in this little gaggle. This is where the battle on the track is around 7th place or 9th place and back.
It certainly is, and you can throw a blanket over these guys. You can see they're doing whatever they can. 32 going to peep on the outside here, Greg Holt, and try to get around that 42 machine of Zach McDaniel. Not able to do it that lap, but maybe he's trying to make that up top line work to his advantage with that.
Still battling. McDaniel will get underneath the 37 going into turn number 3. Kenneth Schultz entering pit road again. Greg Holt's going to follow him through. Randy McCanny not quite going to be able to get there. Yes, he is. He's going to follow him through. So now Brendan on the outside, and we know how difficult that can be.
We certainly do, and it's interesting to see here that he's not able to make that outside lane work at all. You know, I don't think of this track as being a one-groove track, but it seems that way for the number 37.
Oh, and he gets turned.
Great job by those drivers keeping it pointed in the right direction to keep this thing going. Now they're going to take it, well, it looked like they're going to try to take it 3 wide into the corner there. After that big incident, that's a little bit of a scary moment there for all these drivers.
And we saw that. It looks like Brendan Turner, he just didn't quite get the car. It kind of washed up on him, and Jeff Chandler was there, and a little contact ensues. Jeff Chandler continues to make his way through the pack. But right now, back up front, Tim Bills, Bernard Persson, Troy Torgerson, your top 3. Brian Helm has moved around Stephen Vrooman, who's now getting challenged by Jeff Langston. That's a battle for 5th.
Give it to Langston as he's able to get around that machine. And these guys are coming in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly right. So Vrooman, he's Griffith. So Gary Griffith coming. And we have fresh tires in Greg Holt now up to 9th place. That's where Brendan Turner was earlier. So you see just exactly how much that has been. Now Greg Holt with a little damage on the rear. That is not from that incident. That is from something earlier in the race. But I cannot believe we did not have we didn't wad him up there, Chris. But good thing we didn't as they continue to go green. We look at Randy McCanny in 11th. Andrew Polisky, who had to start shotgun in the field. Both these drivers started in the last row, technically. Polisky with the penalty. McCanny electing not to qualify. They are running 11th and 12th right now.
They certainly are being able to make their way up through the field, and a good job. Tim Bills, he's got almost a 1.5 second lead over second place. He's really been able to maintain and stretch that lead on these guys behind him.
Yeah, and I'm watching Troy Torgerson. I've been watching him for a few laps here, Chris, and I have to say, it looks like Troy Torgerson, I mean, I talked about before, he's a very patient driver, and that goes a long way, but he's really kind of patient with Bernard Persson. Isn't really forcing the issue. Nothing wrong with that. But it looks like on paper that Bernard Persson might be holding up the 98 as the 26 of Brian Helm is actually closing in on those two. And Jeff Langston in 5th place in the 0-1 also closing in.
I think it's safe to say that Troy Torgerson is a little bit faster than Bernard Persson in that 8 machine, but the problem is that he doesn't need to get around him yet. I mean, at this point, we're still not even to halfway. They want to be able to get a couple laps in, and really, this is a good time for that 98 machine to kind of save his stuff. Well, I say that.
May have let him go, and Bernard Persson going to relinquish second place. What can the 98 do to close up that gap as Bernard Persson lets Troy Torgerson go through? Brian Helm, the next driver up. Jeff Langston with a good run into 5th place in the 0-1 on his debut race. Dale Neurath, Greg Holt, that's the battle for 5th. But we'll have to keep an eye on what Tim Bills can, or what Troy Torgerson can do with Tim Bills.
We certainly will. The last lap, he was almost 2/10 slower than our leader. So coming to the line here, we'll see exactly what the time is here. And it looks like he was almost 600ths faster than our leader. So he's a little bit faster that lap, but that doesn't mean anything. At this point, they're about to start hitting up lap traffic here in probably the next 5-6 laps. And that's going to bring a whole new dynamic to this race.
And we're looking at the Delta chart here. And that time by, Chris, if you look at the graph, Troy Torgerson took a chunk out. That gap is down to 1.6 seconds. It was as low as 1.3, as high as 2.1. So Troy Torgerson is starting to eat into the 77. It's down to, let's see what it is this time around, Chris. Right now hovering at about 1.4. Does the bar is going to change? Oh, it's down a lot, Chris. It's down to 1.38.
Oh man, you can now tell that that number 98 really wants to get up there and lead those laps, and it could be that he just was patiently behind Bernard Person in that 8 machine, trying not to use and abuse those tires, and now it's paying off for him.
Torgerson is there. Bernard Person in the grasp of his teammate Brian Helm right now and on. But right now, Jeff Langston doing a good job holding off Dale Neerad for 5th place. He's got Greg Holt, so we got Toyota Ford. That's a battle for 5th place. Stephen Vrooman has your Beeswax Apiary. I love that sponsor. That's his actual company. So if you like raw natural honey, you got to check those guys out on Facebook. And no, they don't sponsor me, but you got to save the bees and whatnot. As Gary Griffith looks underneath going into turn 3. So Gary Griffith, who started 39th, is up to 8th place in that number 12 machine. He's coming to the front too, Chris.
He certainly is. And you say he's not the sponsor for you? No, that he could be.
I mean, if Steve Vrooman wants to send me some honey, I will always take honey. I love honey, and I like natural honey, man. I mean, it's good stuff. What can you say, Chris?
It certainly is. And I'm a big fan of myself. I like to use it a lot more as a sweetener in baking and cooking than sugar because it's natural.
Exactly. See, man knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, Gary Griffith up to 8th spot. Vrooman is going to relinquish another spot. That's Jason Speer that is a battle for 10th. That is not Vrooman. That is Zach McDaniel. So Jason Speer, who had that little self-spin and was caught by Greg Holt, is starting to move his way back forward. So he didn't get any damage on that number A3 machine. No sponsor this week on Jason Speer's machine as he has moved up into the top 10. Good run for Jason.
Yeah, especially after that trouble early on. And that actually helped him because he was able to go in, and I believe he stopped to get tires. So he's got a little bit of fresher tires than a few of these guys around him.
Doesn't have as fresh tires as the guy right behind him. That's Dean Doucette, who started on pole, and Dean Doucette in the 29 going to look underneath Jason Speer. So Jason Speer's time in the top 10, a little bit short run lived, but still a good job nonetheless by Jason Speer. Dean Doucette on those fresher tires going to come through and take over 10th position. Jason Speer will drop to 11th. Andrew Poliski, battling with Zach McDaniel. That's a battle for 12th. But Lane Allen also on the fresh tires. He pitted on lap 28. Him and Bobby Terrell on the freshest tires of this group right now, the 14 and the 5. They got to make use of that time.
They certainly do, and you can see it there. The 14 gets a huge run on the outside there. That's just what those tires will do, and Bobby Terrell in that 5 is going to try to do the same thing to get on the outside of Zach McDaniel. Actually, he does a little bit of a crossover. He's going to go low.
Down into turn 3, Bobby Terrell. That's a battle for 14th position. Put the 5 car up into the top 15 as he passes by. Some of these drivers dropping back at the expense. Chad Lang on some older tires. Mike Watts, he's on newer tires. He's moving forward. Randy McCanny has not pitted. He has dropped to 18th. Rupert did pit. He got kind of caught up in that sort of accident we had. He is still trying to move forward as he looks underneath the 6. Almost some contact there. And we are paying attention to the leader right now at 10 Bills with a 1-second lead over Troy Torgerson. But the battle on the track right now is for 19th position. McCanny's going to go high and let these guys go. Looks like Sure Williford, Casey McMullen all on fresh tires. McCanny on the oldest tires right now on the track.
And that's a tough situation to be in because we had a lot of cautions here early on, but now he is not actually doing. He's just falling back into the mud. Having a few issues.
for 19th position. He's on fresh tires, Chris. And before we talk about that, Troy Torgerson has cut the gap down to 0.6 seconds.
He certainly has, and he can easily see that leader, Tim Bills, in front of him. He's going to do whatever it takes to be able to get up there before these green flag stops, because we know they're on the horizon.
Right now, these guys, Zach McDaniel, Chris, as you were talking earlier, he did pit. And we're actually getting some updates now. So Trading Paint's finally getting that thing to come back up. So we are getting some paints getting updated. Apologies about the inconvenience there. You know, I think everybody knows how finicky Trading Paints can be at times. But Tim Bills leading right now. Zach McDaniel did pit. He is the first on those old tires. Somebody's up in the wall. It's Kevin Sargent holds it together. But right now it's 0.3 seconds between Torgerson and Bills as we are impending on pit stops anytime, Chris.
And we talked about it early on that the pit stops were going to be critical because at this point, it's a real tough track to be able to get on and off of pit road, especially with old tires. So these guys are going to have to worry about mistakes. You're going to have to be able to calm yourself down because it's going to be a doozy to get to pit road to begin with, but then to not make a mistake getting on or off of pit road. Plus, then you've got those fresh tires. We talked about it earlier. It's real difficult to get around people here when you've got fresher tires and old tires in front of you.
And these guys, Tim Bills loose off turn 4. Torgerson loose off turn 4. Behind them, Bernard Person, Brian Helm, looking even further back. I mean, this is where the battle is. And you look at some of these drivers, Dean Doucette, on those newer tires, he's continuing to move forward. But now you have drivers out here, Chris, and you talked about it, drivers on new tires trying to come through the field versus drivers on old tires. And how do you manage that when you're on the old tires? Because you're losing about 2.5 seconds a lap to new tires out there.
Well, and one of the issues that you have is that you don't want to give up time and speed yourself as far as being out on the track with those old tires. So you don't want to slow yourself down, but you also don't want to get ran over. And I hate to bring up last week, but we saw just what happened with old tires versus new tires as Brody Hanna was getting passed left and right with those old tires, trying to make that strategy work.
Brendan Turner on pit road, Kenneth Schultz on pit road right now. So right now, our top 6 have not pitted yet in this race. Greg Holt pitted on lap 21. He is in 7th place. He is catching up to the back of Jeff Langston. Gary Griffith has not pitted. He's in 8th. Dean Doucette pitted on lap 20. He's in 9th. Speer and Vrooman, 10th and 11th. They have not pitted yet. Vrooman has a lot of drivers with fresh tires behind him. He is in 11th right now. But you have Lane Allen, who pitted on 28. Terrell, who pitted on 33. Zach McDaniel, who pitted on lap 77. All coming through right now. And that's a tough spot to be in for Vrooman in the 00.
It certainly is, because you know you've got those guys behind you that are faster than you, but you've got to run your race still.
Vrooman loose off turn 4, does a good job holding on to it. Zach McDaniel, who just got off pit road, he is making the storm. He'll get around these guys. Nobody able to take advantage of him making the move underneath there. And Bobby Terrell's going to look underneath Lane Allen. That's a battle for 12th. All these drivers right there with fresher tires. Andrew Poliski pitted on lap 11. He is 14th right now, but back up front, Tim Bills, that gap, it started to expand back out, Chris, but now it's closed back down for Tim Bills and Troy Torgerson.
It certainly has, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that at this point, Tim Bills is also having to deal with people with fresher tires behind him, and right there you see that Troy Torgerson's able to get around him.
Torgerson using a little bit of a pick there on Brendan Turner of the lap car that came out of pit road there, and Torgerson going to look underneath. Can he be the 4th leader of the day? Yes, he can. He's going to clear the 77 off turn 4, put Torgerson in the lead.
Man, and the 77 had to get out of the throttle there, coming out of the corner, as he just got real tight and just had nowhere to go. And at this point now, if you're Tim Bills, you're counting down those laps until you get to make your pit stop. Going to do whatever it is to take an advantage of fresher tires over Troy Torgerson. I almost would be willing to bet I would start thinking about short pitting that number 98 car.
Wait, Chris, you look at it. We're 14 laps away from lap 100. Is there a strategy where these guys try to one-stop this race? I mean, that seems aggressive, but, I mean, is it something that you would consider at a track that eats tires like this?
It's not something that I would want to consider. But these guys might think that the track position is worth it, and especially if we get into the second half of this race with a lot of cautions like we did the first half, it might actually end up working for these guys. But I think it's going to be maybe another 5 laps before they're in.
So Brendan Turner, who you saw just go through, he pitted on lap 78. Zach McDaniel on 72. We have Kevin Sargent in pit road right now in the 09. So he will get some service. But right in front of the leaders, Chris, you look at it, there is a gaggle of cars. There's Jeff Winter, who's come back out with damage repaired. John Held, Richie Coy, Tracy Powers. This is all position battling right here for 25th position or so.
It certainly is, and you can bet your last dollar that they can see who's in their rearview mirror. They don't want to go down either a lap or another lap leader, so they're going to do whatever it is to maintain their race. And man, it's going to go 3 wide coming out of the corner.
Torgerson thinking better of it. Tracy Powers will get out of the gas, and Tim Bills getting loose on the bottom. Tim Bills getting loose on the bottom, holds onto it, slides up the track. He's trying to pit. I thought he was trying to pit. He's going to keep going. Tracy Powers pits instead. Holy cow, that could have been a big one. Brian Helm also coming in, Chris. That took my breath away for a second.
If it did you, can imagine being in that number 77 machine. He just got wicked loose, and that's a product of trying to get through these guys as quick as possible, and it almost opened up a 2-second gap between him and Torgerson up in that first position.
Coy, the last car on the lead lap in 23rd. He had damage from that very first incident of the evening. Torgerson's going to look underneath him, so put Richie Coy 1 lap down. So now Randall Ballard would be the next driver up for Richie Coy, or for Troy Torgerson to catch. But got some drivers on pit road now. Bernard Person, Jeff Langston, Randy McCanny, Brian Helm, Tracy Powers, who just completed his service. Everybody down the way here on lap number 91 and 92, Chris. Dale Nearad coming in now. And we also have a couple other drivers coming in as well. Gary Griffith down and away. Also, looks like Rachel Hunt has made her second pit stop of the night. And here comes our leader, Troy Torgerson. Tim Bill's going to follow him in. Just in front of him is Steve Vrooman and Randall Ballard. So now we got the leaders on pit road. That's going to turn it over to Dean Doucette, our pole setter.
It certainly does, and that also answers that question. We are pretty much guaranteed a second stop here tonight out of these guys, as they will not be able to make it all the way with one more stop like we were thinking.
There you see Rachel Hunt going a lap down. That car got some damage in, I think, the third caution of the night. And so Rachel Hunt will not be defending her Dover win. Dean Doucette, one of 4 drivers, Chris, that started every race here at Dover in FTSR since the series came to iRacing, but has not finished better than 4th.
4th isn't too bad, but right now he's up in the lead, but he's losing a lot of time to the guys behind him as he's out there on those older tires than these guys. And you can see it right there. The 12 is going to go under and just pull away on him. So he's losing some valuable time on the track right now.
So Gary Griffith, he is going to, he pitted on lap 88, so he is getting a lap back from Dean Doucette. Dean Doucette heading into pit road now, but he did pit on lap 20, so but he realizes he can't leave all that time out on the track. That's going to turn the lead over to our rookie, Greg Holt, in the number 32 machine. So Greg Holt leading on debut. He is a 2-second lead over Bobby Terrell in the 5 machine. And Greg Holt in the 32. He just wanted that bonus point, and he will take his machine to pit road. That will turn the lead over to Bobby Terrell, who is currently sitting 3rd in points. So every bonus point helps for that 5 machine as he's going to get his first lap led of the evening. Lane Allen. These guys all pitted on that the last caution we had, which was on lap 28. So Lane Allen, Bobby Terrell, Sher Williford, Casey McMullen, our point leader, Bill Benedict, all on that strategy there. Josh Mayhew pitted on lap 12. He has not came to pit road yet. He is in 6th place. John Held also pitted on our last caution, 7th right now on the track. Can Bobby Terrell stay out here? Is he hoping for a caution, or is it a situation where you know, he's kind of playing to a number game.
Well, at this point, he probably can make it to lap 100, but at that point, you're still looking at stretching it out a little bit. But one strategy that might work for him, if he can make it to lap 100, that means he can break this down into 50 lap segments. That might actually end up helping him out, as he might have fresher tires than some of these other guys earlier on in the next run.
That's a very good point. We have Richie Coy on pit road, but these drivers in the top 7, they have not pitted. So those are your drivers on the lead lap. We haven't talked a lot about him, but Casey McMullen, our point leader, started in 22nd. He is now running 3rd. And we know Casey McMullen, he is a strategist to the core. He's a driver that will play the numbers game, the fuel mileage game, and he knows the strategy going into the race, exactly what he needs to do. And no surprise, at 71, he could be one of those drivers we circle as somebody that could possibly do something a little bit off kilter and throw a wrench in this race. We got Troy Torkelson and Tim Bills battling on track. That is for position. That is battle for 8th place on track. Goes around Chris. It'll be for the race lead.
And that still may be a couple of laps left to go, but these guys are getting back to right where they started now, and they just want to go ahead and decide for themselves who's going to be the leader.
In 8th place, Steven Vrooman sped on pit road, so a good night for Steven Vrooman. Undone. He is now 26th position, and when everything cycles back around, would be the last car on the lead lap at this time. But right now, Bobby Terrell, a 7-second lead over Lane Allen in the 14 machine, and Lane Allen just in front of all these drivers on fresh tires, Chris, and he is actually going to get past. He helps Tim Bills get around Troy Torkelson, actually.
Man, and there's some great racing going throughout this entire field with guys with new tires, still some with old tires, doing whatever they can to keep that track position here tonight. And it's a difficult race alone when you're out here on old tires and new tires around you. But these guys, there's a couple of them that are just bunched up.
And we're looking around the track right now. You see some battling. Dean Doucette getting around Bill Benedict. That's not for position on the track. So our top 7 are the drivers that have not pitted yet. They pitted on the last caution, if I could talk. They all put on the last caution. So right now, our de facto leader would be Tim Bills. He is in 8th place. Troy Torkelson 9th. Brian Helm 10th. Bernard Person 11th. Griffith, Langston, Nearad, Doucette, Zach McDaniel in 16th. Greg Holt 17th. On the track right now. So we got a whole mix of different things going on, Chris. Like you said, a lot of drivers, and you look at the track map right now, there's drivers all over this track. The only time that you don't have any drivers right now is coming off turn 2. There's nobody there. And Josh Mayhew's on pit road.
And at this point, now those guys that are only a little bit newer tires, Tim Bills, Troy Torkelson, they're catching our leaders to get themselves out of that hole of being a lap down, and they're coming in a hurry.
Bobby Terrell looking underneath John Held. John Held right now is in 6th position, so he is the last car on the lead lap, and John Held can't do anything about it. He's going to have to concede, and now he's got 8th and 9th behind him. Tim Bills, Troy Torkelson, he's going to move out of the way. So now Tim Bills and Troy Torkelson trying to unlap themselves, Chris, and that's not a good thing for Bobby Terrell. He's wanting to stretch this out so he keeps those guys lapped down, but it's not going to happen as Tim Bills and Troy Torkelson are going to blow by the 5.
They certainly are.
Oh, caution's out! Bernard Person, Chris, and unbelievably, Tim Bills and Troy Torkelson got on the lead lap right at the very end there.
They certainly did. Not going to have to use that wave around, and this changes everything, Jared.
Gary Griffith involved. Heavy damage on the number 12 USGA machine, and this is not good. Let's see what happened to the 12 and the 8. So here's Gary Griffith. He's all by himself. And we don't see anything yet.
Oh, this one started with the 37 machine, Jared.
And we see the accident ahead of him, and it looks like he's slowing down, and then Bernard Person slides up the track, and like you said, it's a self-cleansing track, Chris, and nothing that can be done there. Let's take a little better look. It looks like it started with the 37 and the 8. So here's Bernard Person. He is right now, at the time, he was battling for 11th place. So there's Brendan Turner on the outside. Oh, he just, I don't know.
Well, he was trying to get up off the wall, and it looks like he kind of jerked the wheel from his in-car camera, and when he did, that car just immediately went down the track. He was just trying to get out of that outside wall, and the Miles just reached out and grabbed him.
Yeah, it looks like he just got maybe some wheel spin there, and Brendan Turner, not Bernard Person, the beneficiary of that, as unfortunately he will be out. Gary Griffith also with heavy damage, and tough break. That's heartbreaking for both those drivers, and not having a great race.
Yeah, certainly a difficult one to have to deal with there, and man, we got a whole new set of things going on.
Bobby Terrell is the race leader. John Held is in second, and Lane Allen in third. So we're waiting for everything to cycle through. So basically, John Held did not pit. Looks like he may have missed pits. So John Held is coming into pits now, and to get that service done on the number 10. He was the lucky dog because he ended up pretty much by the skin of his teeth staying on the lead lap there. But now, Chris, you have all these drivers in front of Bobby Terrell. This played out beautifully for Bobby Terrell. Yes, Troy Torgerson and Tim Bills got their laps back the hard way, but this plays out beautifully for Bobby Terrell because this driver now is the leader on the track, and that strategy, by staying out as long as it could, it paid off for him.
And there may be a mix-up on timing and scoring, because on my end, it looks like Troy Torgerson is still trapped a lap down.
And Torgerson is a lap down. So Troy Torgerson is a lap down. And we will try to figure out what happened to the 98. But Chris, I wonder if he pitted and may have gotten a black flag?
Not sure. I'm fairly certain that he definitely did pit. He came in, but he wasn't the only one to do so. So I'm a little unsure what happened there, but he definitely pitted right after that caution.
Yeah, Torgerson shown a lap down. That him and Randy McKinney, Randy McKinney, the last driver on the lead lap. No, I apologize. Those guys are all one lap down.
Lights are back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not
And
going
the
green.
administrator's trying to sort everything out as we got all those wave around drivers trying to make it back around. But this is a Torgerson, who I believe, I'm still kind of baffled, Chris. I mean, even if he got a penalty, it would have to have been passing under the yellow or something that would caused him to lose his lap and drop all the way to the back.
Looking at it, he did not get out of pit road before the pace car. They hadn't actually caught up with the field before they elected to pit, and I think that was because the pit road was a little tricky, and it showed that it was open for the leaders, but not all the leaders pit. So that was kind of the issue there. He road was open or coming open, but the whole field passed him because of it.
So there you go.
I think Tim Bills actually saw what was happening, and he just blew through the pits. He didn't stop.
Got something happened to the 7 car of Wayne Grossi here under caution.
And he also, I believe, was on pit road with these guys as well.
Yes, he is waiting for the field to come back by because he is looking to be a lap down. It looks like we got some drivers, but right now we will be getting this thing restarted. All those wave around cars, there's a lot of them, but Chris, it paid off for those top 6 drivers of Bobby Terrell, Lane Allen, Case McMullen, Sherrill Williford, Bill Benedict, and Tim Bills.
Man, and the complexion of this race has just changed again after this caution coming out, as we're going to go back green. But man, huge difference.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is back out. We saw the 7 car sitting on the apron. Not sure what was going on there, but a good start by the 5 car, Bobby Terrell. And he's going to leave Lane Allen underneath the 14 going into 2.
He can look all he wants, but Lane Allen gets the power off the corner and is able to clear him going down the back straightaway.
Terrell checks out. Lane Allen holding on to second. Casey McMullen, so the Blackwater Steve Berry Racing guys moving up. Dale Nearad, Sherwood Williford, not Dale Nearad, Sherwood Williford in the 33. Tim Bills in the 5th, and then Bill Benedict. All these guys behind them, Randy McCanny, Steve Vrooman. Those are not battles for position. Randy McCanny is in 19th, first car 1 lap down. Steven Vrooman is in 25th, 2 laps down. So that gets everything a little bit. Oh, we got somebody in the wall. It's Tracy Powers. Hard impact, but he's going to keep the car rolling. He was running in 26th position at the time, but the Hoosier number 45, heavy damage, and he might be done from that race.
Yeah, he made it down to the apron. Luckily, going into pit road now, I'm going to definitely say that he's got a lot of damage on that, what it looks to be a modified.
Modified, and Tim Bills is coming. He is chasing down Lane Allen and Bobby Terrell, who scooted out a little bit. Tim Bills had to cut his way through the traffic. Casey Mullen now getting battled by Bill Benedict. Bill Benedict can't quite make the move. And you see all the other drivers right there. Sure, Williford got out of, and he's going to tuck in front of former teammate and owner Jason Speer there, who is also not for position. That is he is 18th on the track. Tim Bills just did the fastest lap of the race at a 22 flat, Chris.
He certainly did, and he is coming in a hurry. These guys think they're getting an advantage on him. They are completely wrong. He was 4/10 faster than Lane Allen that last lap.
Jeff Winter on pit road. Tracy Powers has elected to come on pit road as well. So tough nights for both of those drivers. So right now it's Terrell Allen and Bills. They have opened up quite a gap to Casey Mullen and Bill Benedict. Randy McCanny, they're just ahead of him. He is in 17th, first car 1 lap down. And that would be good news for guys like Jason Speer and Chad Lang if Randy McCanny is able to race his way back onto the lead lap. And right now the battle is for 4th. There's a whole lot of cars, though, Chris, behind him. And you look at these guys that took the wave around back here. I mean, Mike Watts, Dale Nearad, Kevin Rupert, Andrew Poliski. These guys just trying to get that car moving forward right now.
Would help them out really here. They need a caution to be able to get on the same cycle as all of these guys. That's what they're looking for.
Now, John Held, he was able to pit on 110. He was just the lucky dog, so he had to drop to the back of the field. That's why John Held back there, but he is in 15th position right now. But Bobby Terrell continuing to lead. He's opened up the gap a little bit on Lane Allen. And Chris, I'm kind of surprised Tim Bills was moving forward, but that gap has stayed 80 laps to go.
It certainly has, and maybe he just thought it might be better for him to calm back down and start saving a little bit. He was a little bit slower on the long run over Troy Torgerson, that green flag run we had. So at this point, he may be trying to save a little bit more than he did in that run. Man, and looking back through the pack, Troy Torgerson in that number 98, he is slicing and dicing, trying to make his way back to being the first car 1 lap down, doing it every which way that he can to get up here and try to get back on the lead lap and battle for positions.
Yeah, he just slices way past Richie Coy. That was a battle for positions to put him up to 20th. He is his next driver will be Chad Lang, and then Jason Speer, who's up in that lead gaggle of cars with Bill Benedict and Sherwood Williford. Randy McCanny, the first car 1 lap down. So if things play out the way they are, Troy Torgerson needs a lot of help to be in the lucky dog position. But he is definitely giving it a go right now. And you look at some of these other drivers. I mean, Josh May's a lap down in 22nd position. And then you got Zach McDaniel, who's working his way forward. Kevin Sargent has just gotten around him. McDaniel, he's on those 71-lap old tires, or 71 there, 55-lap old tires, but he had to get back on the lead lap, and that is really showing as he is about to get lapped by the 5 car. Chris, I bring that up because, you know, the gamble is you pit, you stay a lap down, you pit, and you get fresh tires, or do you take that, then try to hope you get another caution? And what would you do in that situation?
Well, at this point, I think I'm going to be doing whatever I can to get up there to being that 1 lap down, the first car 1 lap down, so I can get the lucky dog. But I also want to be careful not to actually bring out the caution, because that's another thing that could happen here. You may be wishing so much for a caution, end up becoming it.
So Zach McDaniel, one of those drivers that took the wave around. That car, he pitted on lap 71, so he's going to go a lap down. So that'll leave 15 drivers on the lead lap. Kevin Sargent will go another lap down. He is currently running in 27th position, so put him 3 laps down now. But Bobby Terrell continuing to pace the field. But now, Chris, Zach McDaniel, that strategy to take the wave around didn't pay off for the 42 machine. And in that background, Randy McCanny is coming in the 6th. That's a battle for the lucky dog. Looking back up front, Lane Allen under heavy pressure from Tim Bills. It is about a 0.2 of a second gap between the 14 and the 77 as they are working through lap traffic right now.
And these guys are doing whatever they can at this point to just maintain this race. No one wants to see a caution if you're in this top bunch, because at this point you've trapped a number of cars a lap down, and you don't want to give that back.
Kevin Rupert right now, the last driver on the lead lap in 15th. Now he does have somewhat fresher tires, 20 lap older tires actually than these other guys, but he's in a position where he's battling with some drivers. Poliski and Watts also pit at the same time. John Held, he's got those fresh tires. He is moving his way through the field. He had to start the tail end of the longest line, which is way back there. John Held in the 10 is up to 12th position. Dale Nearad, Jeff Langston, his next victims there. So keep an eye on the 10 machine of John Held. You watch that 10 car, and you can really tell 20 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but on a track like Dover, I mean, he is massively quicker than the 2 drivers ahead of him. Looking further up the the field here, Brian Helm in 9th place. He is moving his way forward. Greg Holt on debut in 10th. Dean Doucette is up to 7th place. He doesn't quite have the freshest rubber on the track, but he is actually gaining to Sher Williford, who is in 6th place right now. We're having some technical difficulties with Chris, so we'll just keep going through here. But Bobby Terry gap to Tim Bills, who has now finally gotten around Lane Allen for 2nd position. And we have 65 laps to go here at Dover. 65 miles to go at this Dover International Speedway. And the top 3, very interesting top 3. We'll have to see how this thing shakes out as the race continues. Casey Mullen holding on just ahead of Sher Williford, but Dean Doucette closing on both of them.
He certainly is, and coming in a hurry too in that number 29 machine. He wants to do whatever he can to get these positions, because we're coming into the last little bit of this race, and he knows that if he doesn't go ahead and start making his moves now, he won't have the time to do it later.
Sure, jumping on board with Sher Williford. You see the 90 of Bill Benedict working the high side now in the 90, trying to hold on to a top 5 finish or a top 5 run. Dean Doucette has made his way to pit road, so he pitted on lap 90, and we know he can't make it to the end. So Dean Doucette is gonna play a strategy game, and the 29 is on pit road right now.
He certainly is. He's going to use that fresh tire to make time on these guys in front of him. And so what he needs at this point is this to go a very long green flag run, so this can work to his advantage.
So now, exactly, if we have a caution, it's over for Dean Doucette, most likely. I wouldn't say over, but it's going to put him in a bad spot. Bobby Terrell continuing to put some drivers lap down. He has caught up to 14th place Kevin Rupert. who is now the last driver on the lead lap. So Bobby Terrell trying to put some guys a lap down before they have to pit, but you're probably looking pit stops. The window is open, but Dean Doucette, the only taker right now in the 29 machine. What a call! If this works out for Dean Doucette and he ends up winning this race, that is going to be the call of the night to get that car in victory lane by pitting off sequence with these guys.
Certainly a gutsy call, that's for sure. But you know, strategy could work out here and play to his favor. And at this point, that's what he's hoping for.
Yeah, look at the gap between Tim Bills and Bobby Terrell. That gap has come down to 2 seconds now from 2.5. Bobby Terrell working through some lap traffic. He just got through 3 lap cars. Tim Bills is going to have to deal with them too. As we jump on board the 77 machine, we got Wayne Grossi in that mix. A couple other drivers. Kevin Rupert, who is 14th, he's going to go ahead and head to pit road. Zach McDaniel all out, heading to pit road, trying to play some strategy games.
They certainly are, and it'll be interesting to see how it works out for them. But right now, Bobby Terrell in that number 5 truck just up here doing whatever he can to put Dills, who's really kind of stalled out. You know, we were expecting that he was going to be able to catch up with these top 2 and actually be able to run with them, but really he's not showing all the speed that he had before. Maybe that car is not doing so well back in dirty air.
Well, Chris, he got around Lane Allen, and now all of a sudden, you know, you look at this, and Tim Bills is actually kind of making some inroads to Bobby Terrell. That gap has come down from 2.9 seconds 10 laps ago to 1.9, 1.7. So Tim Bills found a gear, and he is moving forward.
And yeah, that lap, he was basically 0.2 faster than our leader, Bobby Terrell. Now, at this point, do you think one of these two?
Well, I think it's a gutsy call to try to make it to the end on fuel or whatever it may be. I don't think that's going to work. And Bobby Terrell putting TJ Bartella another lap down. But my goodness, that'd be a heck of a call if these guys are trying to stretch. But more and more drivers heading down pit road. Like Watts on pit road right now. But Dean Doucette, Zach McDaniel, Troy Torgerson, Kevin Sargent, Mike Watts have all made the call to go ahead and pit. So it's going to be interesting to see what those drivers can do on the undercut and if they can make something happen.
And one of the cars that did elect to pit already is the number 98 of Troy Torgerson, having a little bit of an issue since he lost that lap. This is going to be a really difficult situation for him, as I don't foresee him being able to get back onto the lead lap here in the late stages of this race without some help.
He was a lap down, so he pits, and now he's 2 laps down, but that move could pay off for him if this race stays green. Mike Watts on those fresh rubber, he is trying to hold on to that position. He's going to stay ahead of Tim Bills there. Oh, we got a yellow. It's Kevin Sargent.
And that is not what Dean Doucette wanted to see, as he was hoping this thing would go as long as possible under green, but not going to happen here.
And I don't know what happened. Oh, he got loose off the turn. Got loose, hit the wall, and the car spun around. Unfortunately, came back up on the track, and that's what brought out that caution for Kevin Sargent.
Man, and that is a heartbreaker for a lot of these different drivers. At least that one was all by himself and wasn't able to collect anyone else in that race. But, woof.
That is unbelievably difficult. But that's what happens when you make a strategy call like that. I applaud the strategy call, but when a caution comes out, you're playing with fire, basically. If the caution doesn't come out, you might look like a genius. If a caution comes out, it looks bad at the time, or looks like a bad call. But I disagree that it's a bad call. I think it was a great call by those guys, especially Dean Doucette, who has a victory in the bank, and that does help him out. Randy McCanney in the 6 car will be the lucky dog. And Chris, don't forget, some of these drivers, they could take that wave around and get themselves back on the lead lap. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, especially for those drivers who had just pitted, that may be something that works to their advantage here.
So let's see what we're at. So Jason Speer, he is 1 lap down. The first car 1 lap down. Will he stay out? I don't think that they can make it from 109 to the end, but he would be a driver that I would have to make a decision this time by, as pit road is open for the lap down drivers. As John Held and Andrew Poliski get their service done. So we'll have 14 drivers on the lead lap. And we look at these. It looks like Jason Speer, yeah, he's not going to pit, Chris.
Man, that's a gutsy call here, but we'll see if it works out for him.
Chad Lang, Richie Coy, Randall Ballard, Stephen Vrooman, Brendan Turner, Rachel Hunt, and Jeff Chandler all have elected to come into pit road. So those drivers are lucky dog, obviously coming on pit road as well. So there is some drivers that are going to kind of be in the position to take that wave around, Chris. This is going to be interesting. We saw how it played out for Zach McDaniel, in which he was caught in about 15 laps by Bobby Terrell and put a lap down anyway. It's going to be interesting.
It certainly is, and what these drivers are really hoping for is that we'll go back green here and have a quick caution so that they can be on that lead lap and then come in and get their service and be on the same strategy as everyone else, I can imagine, unless they don't have that set of tires waiting for them in the pits, or maybe they only have one left and trying to save it at the end.
So right now, Bernard Person, who is multiple laps down, Kevin Rupert, who is 2 laps down. We also have, 1 lap down. Josh Mayu, who is 1 lap down. Jason Speer, who's 1 lap down. And Troy Torgerson, who is 2 laps down. Zach McDaniel, who is 2 laps down. Dean Doucette, who's 2 laps down. Wayne Grossi, who's multiple laps down. And Mike Watts, who is currently 2 laps down. All going to take the wave around, Chris. So we have a lot of different things, a lot of different strategies that are happening right now. And you see them going. They are going to take the wave around. And now the games begin.
Man, oh man, every time we get a long green flag going and then these guys end up with a caution right in the middle of pit cycles like this, it changes everything on this track. How these guys race one another, what they're going to do to be aggressive to get out front, because, we're just under 50 laps to go here. It's a bit of a shootout from here to the end.
Yes, it is. It is 47 laps will be to go in the race when the green flag comes back out. So now everything is, they're going to wave this start off to get these guys all caught up and not cause a caution here.
You certainly don't want guys coming full speed behind you when you're double filed up ready for the restart. So good call there by race control.
Bobby Terrell, Tim Bills in the front row, Lane Allen, Case McMullen, Bill Benedict and Sher Williford, Greg Holt, Brian Helm, Dale Nearat, and Jeff Langston, your top 10. Those guys all were able to pit naturally and are in the top 12. They are your lead lap drivers. Randy McKinney took the wave around. He has to start the tail end of the lead lap. Then we have Jason Speer, Josh Mayu, Richie Coy, Chad Lang, Dean Doucette, Kevin Rupert, Randall Ballard, Stephen Vrooman, Mike Watts, and Zach McDaniel, and Troy Torgerson, along with Rachel Hunt, who all took the wave around, but are either 1 lap down or back on the lead lap. So going to be some gambling going on, but maybe some drivers could pick up some positions out there.
Certainly going to be the hope here for these guys. Up front, though, Tim Bills, Bobby Terrell up on that first row with those fresh tires. We're going to see what these two can do. This is the closest that Tim Bills has been to the lead since we had that caution under green flag pits where he was caught the last car on the lead lap. So I was here as they're getting ready to go green and the pace car goes off.
Terrell, Bills, who will get the jump at the start here as they come off turn number 4.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out, and Tim Bills a little bit of a wiggle, but it's a dead heat heading into turn 1.
Certainly is, and I think that they're going to continue side by side, and man, is Casey McMullen in that 71 doing whatever he can to get up to battle with these two.
Tim Bills loose off turn 2, holds on to it. Case McMullen hasn't won. Tim Bills hasn't won this year. There's some thirsty drivers. In fact, only 2 drivers in the top 10. Bobby Terrell clips the apron. Tim Bills is going to go to the outside in turn 1.
Man, that was everything but a wreck there, and it definitely looked like it was coming. And Bobby Terrell still not going to give up that lead going out of the corner.
Terrell sliding through turn 1 and 2. Tim Bills holding on. Casey McMullen backing down just a little bit. Doesn't want to maybe get caught in a wreck there. Tim Bills is going to cut down forward to the lead.
Man, what a risky move there by Bills in that 77 machine. He just slammed the door on Bobby Terrell in that number 5 car.
Tim Bills to the point. Bobby Terrell to second. Casey McMullen. Oh, we got somebody turned. Greg Holt hard in the wall. Bill Benedict maybe off the Bill Benedict machine. And Greg Holt, heavy impact on the back straightaway.
Man, oh man, this was a huge hit for that number 32 machine.
So we see him. He's on the outside of Bill Benedict coming through turn number 2. And he's on the outside. Oh, it looks like he just got... I mean, if I didn't know better, we'll have to get a better look at this. But it looked like he got tagged, but I don't want to say that until we have a better view at this. So here we go, way out, kind of like a spotter camera almost. So here's Greg Holt, and yeah, Bill Benedict just came up the track, got into the side of the 32. So heavy impact. Greg Holt on debut will not see the finish.
Man, what a rough moment there for those guys. And in reality, it looked like they both of them were going straight, but one of them straight was a little bit to the right.
A tough break for Greg Holt there, as he will be out, and it's been a tough race for Performance Sim Sport. Chandler has been trapped multiple laps down because of the passing Tim Bills at the start there. Unfortunately, Jeff Winter was involved in an accident, and Greg Holt on debut involved in an accident. So a tough go for the Performance Sim Sport. The bank, but Racing Performance Motorsport definitely would probably want to forget about this weekend.
They certainly will. It's not been too kind to them, but they'll move on next week to an even more difficult track and do what they can to make up for here tonight.
So right now, 159. So this does pay off for some drivers. That caution, there's some drivers that took the wave around. So Richie Coy got the lucky dog, but Jason Speer, Josh Mayu, they took the wave around along with Dean Doucette. Kevin Rupert is in that group. Stephen Vrooman. All these guys now able to pit and get some fresh tires under their vehicles.
Good playoff for those guys. They needed it early and quick, and they were fortunate enough to get it here. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with this opportunity, if they're able to hop up into the top 10 and really do a great job trying to maintain tonight and get those valuable points, Jared.
Exactly right. We see Dean Doucette back on pit road. Not sure what happened there, but I don't know if he was on the lead lap, actually. He may have been trapped a lap down. I'm showing that he is a lap down in 18th, so I don't know if what happened to Dean Doucette.
On my end, it looked like he was still trapped one lap down there. He was 2 laps when he took the wave around.
Okay, thanks for the clarification there. So that's going to put us at 16 drivers on the lead lap. 17 drivers on the lead lap. No, I apologize. Let's try this again. 15 drivers on the lead lap. Richie Coy, the last of those. Chad Lang, the first car, 1 lap down in 16th. Rupert and Doucette all in that group, 1 lap down. Vrooman in 19th, 2 laps down right now. But now it's definitely crunch time now, Chris. 40 laps to go when we get this thing started again.
And we've already had interesting restarts here from both of these guys up front, the 77 and the 5. Early on in the race, the 77 spun his tires, and then on that last restart, the 5 just got flipped the apron, and really is what let Bills get the lead here. So both of these guys having a little bit of trouble on the restarts.
But now the roles are reversed.
And behind them, you got your points leader, Casey McMullen, in that 71 machine. He wants to do whatever he can to gain these positions as well. I'm not certain. I don't think he has a win here. Wants to get up here and get one as soon as possible, proving why he's in that points position.
Yeah, only 2 winners in the top 10. Bobby Terrell, who's second, and Dale Nearad, who is in ninth. Everybody else looking for the first win of the year as the pace car pulls off, and we're going to get this thing started maybe for the last time here tonight at Dover. Bills and Terrell will lead them down.
Green, green, green.
Green's back out, and a little bit of tire spin from Tim Bills, but he's going to hold it together. Bobby Terrell's going to fight on the outside.
Man, and almost 3 wide behind them, and they're going to
crashing
behind them.
Langston's crashing. Holds on to it. Jeff Langston, and he's still holding on to it. And now they're wrecking. And that was a poor decision to merge like that from the 0-1.
Man, and I think the 0-1 just had too much speed. He couldn't hold it down there on the apron, and he was definitely not going to make the corner there. And so he was trying to blend up where he thought that he could. Just a little bit of kind of a rookie mistake there out of someone that's not really a rookie.
Jeff Langston, rookie in the Cup Series. But let's take a look and see what happened to him to start things off. So here's the start, and let's back this thing up just a little bit here. Can't really tell. It looks like he just gets a run. So it looks like we start this thing over from the green flag, and it looks like he just dives underneath Brian Helm. And Brian Helm, just there's nowhere for Langston to go. Kind of an aggressive move there. Comes back up the track. Plicky might have gotten some damage out of that, but everybody backed up behind him. Let's take a look. We do have some guys on pit road, Chris, I believe.
That we do, and it looks like our
So while Chris is looking at that, Vrooman, looks like everything just checked up. Unfortunately, Lang involved, Ballard involved, Troy Torgerson involved, Kenneth Schultz involved, maybe not involved. He locked it down pretty hard, but that was a tough break for a lot of drivers back there. But looks like Richie Coy actually was the only driver on the lead lap to take advantage of this pit stop. Dean Doucette will be the lucky dog. So the 29, our pole setter, who has gambled on some strategy, has finally made it back to the lead lap. And Chris, now he's got the work to do.
He certainly does. There's 14 guys in front of him. He'll have the freshest tires, but just by a couple of laps here. But all of that may actually work out in his favor. The only issue is that he's actually not got 5th start behind everyone.
Yeah, he does. Richie Coy has pitted on this one, so he will have the freshest tires. Then we have Doucette, Speer, and Josh Mayu with the next set of fresh tires. And looks like Brian Helm, he might have gotten some damage from the 0-1 on that start. He is down on pit road, so Brian Helm going to get that 26 car checked over.
Better safe than sorry at this point, especially with only 16 cars on the lead lap. No reason not to go ahead and bring it down. Only going to lose about 6-7 positions here. Get it taken care of, make sure everything's okay, get it back out there. And actually, while he's down there, it looks like he's going to be taking tires.
So Brian Helm going to get the full service on the number 26 machine, and he's in there a little bit long, Chris, so I do believe, yeah, that pit timer is up to 25 seconds, so he is got some damage. He's getting repaired on the 26 machine. Looks like that crew is going around to the right side trying to put some bear bond on that.
Certainly got the time here to go ahead and do it now. Don't want it to become an issue later on, as these cars are pretty tight. Don't want any overheating issues, so he'll hop back out there and do what he can to finish off this end with that beat up car.
So now we have Randy McCanny has joined Dale Nearad and Bobby Terrell. Liskey in 9th, Langston in 10th. But now we have to circle some of these guys toward the back half here. I mean, Jason Speer, Josh Mayu, Brian Helm, if he got all that damage fixed. Dean Doucette, all with some fresh rubber out there. Richie Coy as well. what can these guys do in 35 laps to try to make their way forward? Now, we know Dean Doucette's got to start at the tail end of the longest line, so he's got to start way, way back. But some of those other guys, they're right up here in the thick of things.
Well, and that's kind of the thing here, is that you need to go ahead and make your move now. Not the billboard here to make a name for yourself. So you got to do whatever you can to go ahead and make up positions quickly while you have the opportunity. And this restart is going to help out because it's a bunch of.
Chris, we had just a little bit of some lag there on your voice, but we did get the gist of that. Definitely want to make your name a name for yourself, and now is a good opportunity to do it. Could put somebody in the playoffs with a victory here tonight, and here with. They'll get the restart with 35 laps to go at the Monster Mile. Pace car takes the left-hand turn.
Green flag, green flag.
And green flag is back out here at Dover. And a great start.
Both of them, a great start, side by side, going into the corner. Bill's got a little bit of the advantage in the middle of the corner. It looks like he's going to clear the 5 and set sail there. But behind them, they've still got it bunched up. That Sherwood, Wilford, and Lane Allen there.
Williford and Lane Allen, that's a battle for 4th. Casey Mullen trying to chase down Bobby Terrell for 2nd. But right now, Williford on the inside of Allen. That's going to be a battle for 4th position. Allen up the track. Diamonds off, and Allen with a power move off turn 2. He's going to hold on to 4th. Williford tucks to 5th. Nearad in 6th. Bill Benedict in 7th. McCanny 8th. Poliski and John Held your top 10.
And Nearad saw exactly what Lane Allen did, and he tried to do the same thing on Williford in that 33 machine. Give it to him going into the corner.
And now Williford is up on the high side. Just can't quite get that machine to cut down as Bill Benedict, who is involved in that last incident. A little damage on the right-hand side. We'll see if it affects him in the 90. And Bill Benedict trying to get underneath. Sure, Williford gets a little bit loose off the corner. Oh, Richie Coy up maybe scraped the wall, but he keeps it going straight.
And up front, the Tim Bales machine, 77 machine, is kind of got a little bit of a gap to our 2nd place contender, almost 9/10 of a second. So he's really enjoying this clean, fresh air up here.
Well, Tim Bills has shown he has some short run speed in the car tonight. We haven't seen much out of Bobby Terrell except through the sequence of pit stops and where he's come out at. So it's going to be interesting to see if Bobby Terrell can chase back down. But right now, Lane Allen and Casey Mullen battling for 3rd position. Dale Nearad is there. Sure, Williford is back regaining his car. He's in 6th. Bill Benedict the 7th. McCanny, Poliski, and Held your top 10 still.
Man, and it's hard to say, but I believe that number 71 machine is holding these guys up behind him because they are bumper to bumper now around this track.
And they're bumper to bumper all the way back.
It's like rush hour traffic up here, but these guys are going 160, 170 miles an hour.
Yeah, 1 second gap as Bills continues to increase that gap over Bobby Terrell with 27 laps to go. Lane Allen is just holding steady with Casey Mullen, doesn't push him. I mean, they're teammates, and I'm sure there's maybe some strategy at play. I mean, you don't want to wreck your teammate, obviously. Back a little bit further, Jeff Langston and Brian Helm, a little blocking going on there as Langston kind of pushed Helm down to the inside there, it looked like, but everybody good back there as Helm goes by.
Incident, not by no real actual damage to that car, as he just was getting loose and stuff like that. Now he's going to work his way back up there, and it looks like Richie Coy may have an issue.
Yeah, Richie Coy had that damage from the first incident of the night, and that car, I think, is just down on power. He's just trying to survive right now. We talked to him a little bit earlier, and I believe that's the case. Vrooman on pit road with some issues as he has got some damage repaired. He has left pits as well. But I'm keeping my eye on Jason Speer, Josh Mayu, and Dean Doucette. They have something happen. Brian Helm actually has the freshest tires, and he is starting to move his way forward, battling with John Held for a battle for 10th place right now.
Yeah, he is the one that pit on this last lap trying to repair damage, and he's the group that you mentioned that's actually able to work his way back up towards the front. So a very strong car out of that 26 machine as he's trying to do whatever he can to get back up here in contention.
Helm continuing to move forward. Poliski, the next victim on the list, but he's battling with Bill Benedict as Bill Benedict cuts down, and Randy McCann is able to get down, and that's going to cost Poliski the position. So Poliski loses 2 spots there, gets loose off the turn, holds on to it. The 96 continuing to move forward, though, holding on to 10th place right now. But Brian Helm has come out of time to get done. He's going to look underneath the 90, Bill Benedict, and he's going to shove it down in there. Bill Benedict wasn't going to let him have it, and Bill Benedict is going to have to concede the spot.
He didn't have much of a choice there, as it was either give it to him or end up in the pits with some damage. And what a risky move there. Brian Helm is really doing whatever he can to make his way back up into the top 5.
So now Helm is up to 8th spot. He's got McKilliford after that, as we see TJ Bartel on pit road here. 21 laps to go. Up front, Tim Bills with an 0.8 of a second lead over Bobby Terrell. They just got past Rachel Hunt, who is a lap down, and also a couple other drivers with some damage. Chad Lang, unfortunately, won't defend his championship here, or his race victory here either. But everything's kind of started to settle down. Casey Mullen holding on to 3rd, Allen in 4th, and they've all spread back out a little bit. But now Brian Helm has gotten around Randy McCann. He made quick work there. Now he's got his teammate of Dale Nearad next, and I don't think that's going to be too much of a battle for him either.
Well, I don't think it's going to matter anyway, because at this point, he's got the freshest tires, pretty much the best car here. You can see him, he's just going every which way to get around these cars and really diving it deep into the corner there.
Sure, Williford didn't let him get down there, though, and Brian Helm had to kind of let off a little bit. Helm going back again. It's only going to be a matter of time, I would think. He's going to look again, and now he's going to get the move done going into turn 1. Williford has to concede. Helm up to 6th position.
And a lot of aggressive move out of that number 26 machine to do whatever he can to get up there and battle at least for a podium spot with 18 laps to go.
Helm is there on the back of his teammate Dale Nearad. Will Dale Nearad concede the position? I don't know, but Helm not quite there just yet. That's a battle for 5th. Ahead, the 2 Blackwater drivers of McMullen and Allen holding on to 3rd and 4th. And those guys, no love lost, if you will, between those 2 teams. So I don't believe they're going to make it easy. Dale Nearad does pull up the track. Brian Helm up to 5th position.
He's up to 5th position, but is it too little too late here coming to 15 to go? It's maybe a little bit of a ways up here to Lane Allen.
I think he's going to get to Lane Allen. I think he's going to get to Casey McMullen. I don't think he's going to be able to get to Bobby Terrell or Tim Bills.
I would have to agree with you, Jared. From looking at the timing and scoring, he is way faster than McMullen and Lane Allen, but I don't see that he's got enough time to make it up there to Tim Bills or Bobby Terrell in that 5 machine.
And Chris, looking at Dean Doucette, the 29 car, I don't believe he has any damage, but that car still mired in 15th place. Despite pitting on lap 163, he is not able to get that thing going. We got somebody blown up. It's Troy Torgerson on pit road smoking, as we got a battle there right in front of Dean Doucette. That's between Langston and Josh Mayhew. That's a battle for 13th. Mayhew's going to get through. So Dean Doucette not really moving forward. Langston really crowding him down the straightaway there a little bit. But up front, Tim Bills continue to check that gap. It's a half a second between those 2 drivers right now.
Well, and if you think about it, Dean Doucette actually started in the rear after the restart here, so he's actually had to go through a lot of cars just to get to where he's battling for positions.
Oh, then that is true. That is true. So he did start the tail end of the lead lap. I forgot about that. So that explains why Dean Doucette's just now getting up to these guys to race for position with those fresher tires. And right now, Bobby Terrell's starting to make some inroads with 12 laps to go, but making inroads on a driver and passing him, 2 totally different things.
It's certainly a little bit of help from lap traffic, because that will come into play here. You can see it now. Our leader has a car to his outside, and a lot of these guys, yes, they're going to get up and out of the way to try to let the leaders battle here, but it's still going to make things difficult as you have to weave in and out of traffic.
11 to go. Bills and Terrell, they're there We are keeping an eye on Brian Helm. He has chased down Lane Allen for fourth with 10 laps to go. We'll keep an eye on that. But right now, Tim Bills holding on to the race lead, with Bobby Terrell chasing him down. McMullen 2.5 seconds back, likely will not factor in the victory here. And now Lane Allen has Brian Helm all over his back door.
He certainly does, but we talked about it. He's not going to move over and let this car by. Even with him being the faster car, he doesn't want to give up these points either. But with 8 laps or 9 laps to go here, it's going to be hard to deny that 26 machine.
Tim Bills holding that car down. 9 laps to go. We look back. Casey Mullen still around 2.5 seconds. That gap has not changed. Chad Lang pulls down the bottom, gets out of the way with that damage on the front end there. Lane Allen, though, he's got a mirror full of a Toyota, a white Toyota, Brian Helm, trying to make his way back up here into the podium finishes. And Helm is there. But right now, Chris, we have to look at this race lead. 8 laps to go, and the gap back up again. Was Tim Bills just kind of playing with Bobby Terrell there and saving some stuff?
He certainly could have been, but at this point, he could have also saw that he was losing time to Bobby Terrell and that number 5 machine and decided to pick it up a little bit here because, you know, at this point, if he's saving, he kind of doesn't want to catch these lap traffic up ahead if he can help it. Challenges for him and make this lead pretty much disappear.
7 laps to go. Terrell has increased that Bills has increased that gap to 0.7 of a second, looking for his first career Cup Series victory in a season, his first full-time season in the Cup Series. 6 to go. Can the 77 Will & Dillon Motorsports driver put it in victory lane? Right now, the answer is going to be Terrell in second, Casey McMullen third. Nothing has changed. Brian Helm caught Lane Allen and now has dropped off, and I wonder, Chris, if he's just used his stuff up trying to charge through the field and now doesn't have anything left to make the final positions up.
The last couple of laps, he's been a little bit slower than Lane Allen, but that lap he made up a 10th on him, so they're kind of playing a cat and mouse game between those two drivers.
But at the end of the day of this season, Chris, and that's Casey McMullen, that 71 machine, leading the points. He's led 3 laps all season long, and here he is coming his way forward, and he's in 3rd place here tonight. We haven't really talked about him a whole lot, but this guy has got to be one of the most consistent performers this season has had yet to this year.
Certainly, that's been the name of the game for this 71 bunch, as they've really just played their race. Anytime that they've had any misfortune or anything like that, this team has really kind of ducked their head down and plowed through it, and that's what's been able to keep them in the points lead here. And, you know, it's only a matter of time before this group is able to pull out a win here in this Darkmatter Designs Cup Series.
2 laps to go. Tim Bills has increased the gap. Bobby Terrell's pulled a little bit back. There are some lap drivers ahead. Will they play a factor? It's hard to say right now. Drivers, as Barney the Flagman, he's got the white flag out for the white and black, number 77. And here we go. Coming off white flag, Terrell's going to chase him down, though.
He certainly is, but I don't know that he's going to be able to get there. He's done everything he could. Bobby Terrell, the last 2 laps was a 10th of a second faster than our leader, but unfortunately, he needed to make up 5.
5 seconds was too much. Coming off turn 4 for his first career Cup Series victory in the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series, Tim Bills will get it done at the Monster Mile. Holding under tough circumstances tonight, Bobby Terrell will grab second. Casey McMullen will round out the podium. Lane Allen will hold off Brian Helm for 4th. Nearad, Williford McCanny, Benedict, and Andrew Poliski, your top 10 here tonight at Dover. What a run by Tim Bills to grab his first career victory.
Well, and he did what he needed to do the entire race long. He stayed up front, kept that track position. We talked about how critical it was. The only time that he wasn't up in the top 5 is during pit stop sequences.
They count him out, but they didn't, and Tim Bills will grab the victory here tonight. And Chris, let's take a look at those results here tonight. And this is going to be crazy to look at. I mean, there are some drivers that, you know, were up front tonight that had some bad nights. We already talked about the top 10. Mayu with a solid run in 11th place. Jason Speer will grab 12th. Dean Doucette 13th. John Held will drop to 14th. Jeff Langston will finish the last car on the lead lap. Engine problems will finish the first car 1 lap down in 16th. Rupert, Watts, McDaniel, and Chad Lang, your top 20. And we look through the rest of this field, Chris. Jeff Chandler, he had the black flag, and he somehow recovers for 21st position. 4 laps down, but Jeff Chandler, that's a resilient performance for the 31 bunch to get some very well-needed points here tonight. Rachel Hunt and Chad Lang, 2 previous winners. The past winners last year, they're not going to get it done. They're going to finish 20th and 22nd. Vrooman with a solid night, but doesn't have much to show for it in 23rd. Turner on debut, 24th. Grossi, 25th. Torgerson, 26th. And all the drivers back behind him were multiple laps down, including defending champion Bernard Persson, Gary Griffith, TJ Bartel, Jeff Winter, also Gil Gock and Jeff Bratton, Paul Sargent back there as well.
Certainly a tough night for a lot of guys back there, particularly Troy Torgerson with blowing that engine late in the race. That 98 was battling up here in contention for at least a podium until an ill-timed caution really kind of ended his day just by miring him back in traffic.
Exactly right. Well, we're going to hear from those top 3 finishers, take a look at our points, and preview next week's race at Circuit of the Americas right after these messages.
Certainly did. A lot of guys that got caught up in crashes in the early going really meant that they were doing nothing but play in the track and field at this point. And really, a lot of guys were able to make the most out of it, but a couple just at that point were unable to avoid further troubles throughout the rest of the night. I certainly am. I'm down here with Casey McMullen in this number 71 bunch. Casey, this 71 machine has been pretty much the most consistent car on the track this season. Take us through your race here tonight.
Yeah, I was just starting in the back, trying to avoid some incidents, and we got a little damage at the beginning, but it wasn't too bad. And um, with all the cautions going on, we got that one green flag run, and I was looking, and we could make it on one stop, so I was just going to do one stopper, and then the caution came out, so that's how we got all our track position, and just luck. And these guys on the team, they just helped out a lot, and without them, I wouldn't be up there. So
Hey, when you're on the good side of luck, they call that strategy in this sport.
yeah, we're always trying to pull some kind of strategy. At least I am, and yeah, it benefited us, Lane and Sherwood there, so it worked out good.
And this 71 machine, what could you have done tonight to be able to be up in contention against Tim Bills and Bobby Terrell in those machines?
I think a long run, maybe 80 laps. Uh, we could have maybe yeah eventually been battling, but I don't know how those guys were on the long run. I just knew I had a good long run car.
Well, absolutely, and you're able to bring it home in the third position. Casey, is there anyone that you'd like to thank, family, friends, sponsors that helped to get this 71 to and from the virtual track?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank my family first for letting me do this, and uh, Steve Barry for sponsoring us with the Blackwater Products USA. Go check them out. That's good stuff there. And my team, you guys, Full Throttle. It's been a heck of a ride. I really enjoy it here.
Absolutely. Next week we head to Coda, the road course. It is a big unknown for a lot of guys in this series, and it's road just going to do there.
Well, um, that type of track for me, probably not good. So I'll be out in the back. I'll be waving people by and just hanging out. So um, maybe try to get a top 25 will probably be my goal. So
All right. Well, we'll wish you the best of luck going into that race, and congratulations on P3 tonight. Jared, you've caught up with our Sega Play finisher here tonight, Bobby Terrell, in that number 5 machine.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky. I mean, sometimes you need some luck. So I feel I got lucky, and everything kind of fell my way. Even though I had damage, I mean the car was running good, and I mean, it was good. I mean, I don't know if the damage affected me or not. It's hard to say, but the way the cautions fell. Yeah, like I said, I had damage. TJ, it took him totally out, and then Wayne, like I said, he had 3 or 4 minutes, and I was able to rebound, and like I said, with the caution falling like it did, and me staying out, and I was just going to try to know if I could have, but I was going to give it a heck of a try. Well, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, like I said, I was out there on old tires, and um, and they were able to get back around me the way it fell, and they probably, I don't know how far back I would have been staying out like I would have, and I would have hoped that it would have stayed green, the whole way, which was asking a lot to at least try to maybe get me back into the top 10 if I just run, pace myself back up there. But like I said, when we had that caution on lap one, whatever it was, I think we went back green on 112 or 114. I knew it would be close to make it, and I was gonna try to make it. I was slowing up a little bit, just try to save some fuel and try to make it. Well, I mean, I sure hope so. I mean, like I said, I ran good at Daytona. I just got in an accident. Um, I was in the top 10 there. Uh, but like I said, I think everybody's in for a surprise at the Circuit of Americas. It's going to be totally different. We've raced Sonoma before and Road America before, but these are going to be. All right, thanks. Thank the league, FTSR, Darkmatter Designs for sponsoring it. We couldn't, like I said, we couldn't do it without them. Everything that y'all do, the it's excellent work. The announcing's good. Um, I just appreciate what y'all do, and then shout out to Tim for winning it. I mean, he earned it. He won it. So shout out to him. And then a shout out to my team this week. I wouldn't have been where I was at if it hadn't been for those guys.
I certainly am, and in his I believe, third start here in the Dark Matter Designs Cup Series, Tim in fashion, led 121 laps, had the best lap time. Tim, was there anything that you thought that was going to happen about this race that was going to take it away from you? Because we are definitely up in the booth. We're watching in all of this number 77 machine.
Man, I was worried every lap. I'm not gonna lie. I've been so excited about wanting to try and win one of these, and now that I finally have, it's awesome. But every time, anytime there was a caution or something, I thought, man, this is gonna catch me in the wrong spot, or now we're gonna have to restart, and I'm gonna spin the tires again. And man, I was just glad to see the end come.
Absolutely. And one scary moment there for you was when you guys had taken those green flag pit stops, and both of you darted down pit road right in front of the leaders. What ended up saving you from going a lap down because the 98 got trapped?
Well, two things: my relative and my spotter. I looked in there and thought I saw the pace car, and I hollered at Russ, and Russ said, "Yeah, the pace car's in turn 4." And I was like, "Whoa!" So we just had to drive through, and if I would have stopped, that would have been the end of that.
Man, and that has to be the game or race winning move there for sure. Being able to get out in front of that pace car and be able to make it back around and catch the field. But Tim, this is before this, your best finish, I believe, was at Richmond when you finished third. So congratulations here tonight. Like I said, leading a majority of the laps here. Um, at one point, it looked like Bobby Terrell and that number 5 was closing in on you at the end, but you were able to kind of kick it in another gear and seem to pull away there at the end.
Yeah, the car had went through phases, and it was really good. When we got the green, the car handled great, and then you get a couple laps into it, and then it just get super tight. It wouldn't want to turn, and I'd have to really dime in the corner, or just have to really wait on it, and then that would go away, and then it would finally free back up, and then you could run it pretty hard again. It just really, I guess it's just the tire model that we have.
Absolutely. And is there anyone you'd like to thank to help get this number 77 to and from the virtual track?
Yeah, I got to thank Russell Charneski for spotting for me. He made some great calls, let me know when I was clear, and again, where the pace car was, and without that, there's no way I would have won this race. So
Absolutely. Next week we head to a road course, Coda, for the first time in this series. What is the 77 group going to be doing? Going to be doing to prepare for that race?
well, probably just I got to stay on the track. That would be my goal for staying on the track and not having any incidents. That would be a good goal, I think, for Coda.
Absolutely. Luckily, it has all those paved runoff areas, unlike some of the other road courses coming up. We've got a handful of them coming up real quick here. I believe there is 3 of them in the next 6 weeks. So a lot of road course time for this group. So seat time is going to matter the most there. And I'm going to hand it over to you for the last words of this race. And once again, congratulations on your finish here tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. I got to thank my sponsor H&H Sign Supply and JustForCrafters.com. And then, like I said, I got to thank Russ again for spotting, and thank you guys for putting the broadcast on here, and all the admins for the great job that they do with the league. It's so much fun running with these guys and girls too, Rachel out there. So I look forward to it every week. So I want to thank you guys.
Tim, congratulations. We'll be looking for this number 77 to have a great week next week at Coda. And Jared, we're going to Coda. This is a incredible difficult track. These cars are not road racing type cars. These are big, heavy stock cars. These guys are in for a huge surprise coming from Dover. It certainly will. And like you said, it's going to present a new opportunity for a lot of these guys. We may have some sleepers that are some road course ringers here. We got some dingers maybe in the back half of the top 25 in points. So you never know what's going to happen at that track. At any of those road courses coming up, we may have a couple of new winners in the next couple weeks.